come on and address this. And I have already known about Alyssa's sister dying on the very day that she flew to Cabo, but I hadn't really gotten around to talk about it. I think that it just would draw attention away from Shanquella, but it's something to just discuss because it just seems like there's a lot of sinister things surrounding this story. So let's just talk about Alysse, a little bit about Alysse. Alysse has 6 siblings, has a very huge family. And one of her sisters, in particular, here you can see here, this is one of her sisters who is a police officer. That is one of her sisters. This is not the sister who has passed away. She is a retired sister before we get into this tragedy about her other sister who died away due to domestic violence. But it's possibly that they have 3 sisters. One sister was brutally murdered. And here is some photos of her other sister who is a police officer, guys, or a retired police officer. This is one of Alyssa's sisters. So it does to me make me wonder if her sister is a retired police officer, what, if anything, is she advising her sister regarding the criminal conduct involved in this case? So she served for 10 years and retired before any of this crazy stuff. Wait, sorry guys, this just went away. This crazy stuff happened with Alysse and the Cabo 6. So I thought this was interesting. Before we get into the whole tragedy about her sister, I just wanted to kind of talk about some things about Alysse. Here are the 6 siblings that Alysse has, just to give you some background before we get into that part of it. You can see her sibling. Are these the siblings though? Because I don't see that cop in here. Some people probably spreading some. This girl does. I don't see the cop in that picture. And this is something that people are saying online. So you guys never know. You take stuff like this with a grain of salt. But let's look at this picture a little closer and see. Let's see what the badge says. Let's go in close on. Do y'all see that? Does that say Hyatt? That does say Hyatt though. It is not really legible, but I could see Hyatt right there. Can you guys see that? Can't get any closer to it. I don't know, but I think this might possibly be one of Alyssa's sisters. So I just wanted to point this out because if this is her sister, they look just alike to me. They got the same nose, they got the same eyes, even the same eyelashes, same smile. They look like twins. She just looks like an older version of her. So, and I like to look in the spine what people are talking about to see if they have some tea, you know. And as I'm looking in here, the reason why I feel like this is an interesting thing to talk about, because if her sister is in law enforcement and she knows that her sister could possibly be involved in a cover-up for murder, why isn't she advising her sister? Did she advise her sister that, hey, you need to talk to the authorities, you need to assist in this? Could she have been the one? This makes sense now, guys. Could she have been the one, Alysse, could she have been the one to release that video because maybe her sister told her, hey, you need to stop covering up for these people because you're going to find yourself in prison for the rest of your life or for a significant amount of time because you are assisting in a crime. You know what I mean? This photo here allegedly is in Anita Hyatt's photos with that same officer. And you already know Anita Hyatt is Alyssa's sister who passed away, which we're going to talk about. But that tells me that Alysse has an older sister who is a retired police officer. And we'll go into her photos to see. Who is a retired police officer who has worked as a police officer for 10 years. That is an important thing that we should know because it kind of makes us ask ourselves, what, if anything, is she telling Alysse about what she should be doing in regards to this case? So here it says right here, it says 10 years. I served, truly loved it. This doesn't even begin to showcase my time with GPD. I've met some amazing people here through the department for which I'm forever grateful. The experiences can't be fully explained. So that is very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things that are coming out, little bits and pieces of information that we have to kind of put together and figure out what's going on. People are saying there's 6 siblings, but that picture there, guys, that they just posted does not look like it matches the siblings. We're going to actually go look at, I know, guys, we're going to go look at Anita's mom's photos to see if we can find the actual correct siblings, y'all, because I don't think these people are posting the right siblings. But here is another photo here. Here's a photo here. This was Thanksgiving 2021 and shows some of the family. That picture right here is Alysse's mother. That is Anita, who has passed away, which we're going to talk about. And I think that's another sibling. That girl looks just like Alysse. So, that might be another sister too, because they have the same eyes. Why is this thing so sensitive, y'all? It's hypersensitive. So excuse that. So I think that's an interesting fact, right? That her sister is a 10-year retired police officer. That can mean a bunch of things, but it does make us wonder, though, is she advising her sister? Wait, what just happened here, guys? We just had some good stuff. And is she advising her sister as to what she should be doing in this case? I hate how sensitive this thing is. We were just there, guys. Bear with me as we get into this. There's so much to cover in here, so I want to kind of take my time. So you guys could skip around after that. So that's an interesting fact. We want to definitely keep that in our mind, that we have to wonder what exactly is she advising her sister regarding this. Mind you, Alysse also had to bury her older sister, take part in that. This explains to me why Alysse was not mentally present in those videos that we watched previously, because one of the things that stuck out about Alysse in these various videos, I always wondered, I'm like, she either is just some blind follower that has no mind of her own and just going with what everybody says, or something is just like, she's not there. You know what I mean? Mentally not there in those videos. And now it makes sense. She was so distracted by the tragedy related to her sister that her mind was not focused on exactly what was going on. She was not mentally present. I'm pretty sure you guys have been there, where maybe you are at an event or at a work event or whatever, and you may physically be there, but you may have some worries that you're dealing with at home or family issues or whatever, and you're mentally not there because your mind is on something else. It makes sense now why she just wasn't really present. Even when the video related to them playing the game, and I could hear Khalil's voice, he kind of was at the very end of the video, he tells Alysse to come and take part in the play. I think she went to the Cabo trip, because a lot of people were saying, why would she go to a Cabo trip because after her sister dies? Well, she already paid for the trip, guys. A lot of times when you pay for these trips, pay for the Cabo, she's probably paid some part of the villa, maybe. Who knows? But she definitely paid for a flight. So a lot of times you can't get reimbursed for that stuff. The very day her sister's brutally murdered at 1 a.m. in the morning, and we know that she knew about that because the article we're going to go over releases the exact name of Anita, and you already know news reporters are not going to release the name of the deceased until a next of kin has been notified. And the fact that they stated the first and last name of Anita Hyatt, they had already notified next of kin, which gives us direct evidence that Alysse had to have known that her sister was deceased at the time she left for Cabo. That's why it explains why she was not really mentally present in those videos. She was so focused on the tragedy of her sister, but she already knew she had an obligation to go to this trip. Probably thought, hey, let me just try to take my mind off of this tragedy. Maybe this could try to help me distract myself from this tragedy. I'm not making any excuses for her. I'm just trying to figure out what was going on in her behavior, because her behavior was very weird. I mean, meaning she didn't seem like she was really had a mind of her own. I thought, man, this girl must just be a blind passive follower. Oh, and some other key tea is Khalil Cook's Facebook is back up, so we're going to have to look at that a little later. He deactivated it earlier, so we'll take a look at his Facebook a little later after we talk about this story. So I thought that was pretty interesting, guys. Let's see. So let's get into the article. There's so many things I want to talk about, but anyways, let's get into the article first. So the sad part about Anita's older sister is one of the typical things that happen in domestic violence cases. A lot of these ladies think it's cool to date these hood men who are involved in crimes. They think it's a cool thing to date these type of men. But in reality, there's a lot of behaviors that foreshadow these tragedies. And in this case, Anita's demise was very predictable given this man's violent criminal past. So on October 28th, a key date, this is the date, the same date that everyone flew in the Cabo 7, all 7 of them flew to Cabo. So this is a very important date. On that very day, as they were about to fly out, a woman from Jamestown, Alysse's sister, was shot and killed at a North High Point hotel early Friday. Her ex-boyfriend had been arrested, police said. Anita Hyatt, who is 31 years old, so we know she's the older sister of Alysse, was shot about 1 a.m. Okay, and this article was written October 28th. So they were able to identify Anita very fast and quickly notify next of kin. And I believe this is because they were at a hotel. And as you guys are aware, you have to provide identification when you check into a hotel. Another key thing you want to look at is that Anita was broken up with this abusive, violent man who has an extensive violent history. So this man, and she was shot multiple times. There were several gun wounds in this woman, which shows to me a heat of passion, crime of passion. This man felt rejected, and his mentality was, if I cannot have you, no one can. So this was a heat of passion. One thing a lot of people are questioning is, why would Anita meet this man who she broke up with? She clearly knew that there were a lot of red flags with this man, and she met up with him anyway. He probably convinced her. A lot of times these women go back to abusive men anyhow. He probably convinced her to go to that hotel, knowing he had this very sick, sinister plan in mind. She met him at a hotel probably because her family, her friends, her mother, all her siblings had told her she needs to leave this guy alone. They probably had already started. She was embarrassed by going back to this man. So she thought she could hide it by going to a hotel, because she was ashamed that she was going back to this man, knowing good and well that her family and friends had told her over and over again to leave this abusive, sick man alone. So that's probably why they snuck off to the Super 8 hotel to meet up. Thought she was going to rekindle this relationship, but this man was sick and sinister, very controlling man. He had a sick, sinister plan to brutally murder this woman at the Windham 44 Regency Drive, which is along North Carolina 68 near the High Point, Greensboro city limit. The High Point Police Department said no other information about her injuries was released, except that she had more than one gunshot wound. That shows you a heat of passion here. This man was so angry with her for rejecting him, and was very possessive of her. A lot of these men are very insecure and hypersensitive. They're hypersensitive to rejection. These type of men with the violent profile like this man has. And so they see women as possessions. And he saw Anita Hyatt as his possession. And when she decided to walk away, he was not going to allow her to do that. He didn't care about his freedom at this point, because this man has a track record of violence and attempted murder in his history. Hyatt later died at an area hospital, so she was actually still alive at the time that she was transported to the hospital, which means if she was conscious, she also would have notified authorities of who she was, which was why family members were immediately notified, and this gives us direct evidence that Alysse knew about this this tragic death of her sister. And the reason why I have to notate that, because there's different ways you could look at it. Some people will say, well, maybe she didn't know her sister had died yet. She probably didn't get the information. But we already know, based upon this information, more than likely she did know. The only reason why she left to that trip is because she already had paid for it. It was like it was too late to get out of it. And probably she thought, well, maybe I can distract myself from this horrific thing. But you could see her behavior in those videos showing she was not mentally present at that trip. She just wasn't. Her mind was somewhere else. She looked like an empty soul walking around when she was sitting at the table for dinner. She just looked like an empty, hollow body walking around. She wasn't really responsive. And it looked like she just kind of was just trying to distract herself. You didn't see her in the video participating in the game. Although at the very end of the video, you will hear Khalil say, "Come on, Alysse." So basically trying to get her to take her part in the game. It also makes me wonder, your sister's brutally murdered and you participate in a subsequent brutal murder the very next day of Shanquella? How evil. Your sister's brutally murdered the day before, and then you passively take part in a murder. Makes me question, was she a part of the physical part of the beating? Did she take part? There's rumors going around, but you guys, these rumors that are floating around have no receipts. So we really don't know if Alysse actually took part in the beating. But she clearly passively watched, which is actually very sick and sinister, that she wouldn't try to stand up for a woman who's brutally expiring and dying before her when she saw, or when she knew that her sister was historically in an abusive relationship and her sister was brutally murdered yet the day before due to violence. And the next day she witnesses a violent act and doesn't say anything. That's why I'm saying I think Alysse was not mentally present at that trip. The thing is, I really want to know more about what her part was in this whole tragedy. Was she in the room? Because we don't hear her voice in that video. Clearly she probably was in that room, but we don't hear her voice. We don't know exactly where she is in relation to the other individuals. How come she didn't step up and say anything? Was she so mentally distracted and focused on the tragedy of Alysse that's why she didn't take part? There's so many questions I have. So many questions I have about Alysse. At the end of the day, she was wrong, and she also conspired by lying or not even trying to clarify how and why Shanquella was unresponsive on October 28th when the doctor arrived. So I'm not making excuses for her, guys. I'm just trying to analyze everything from all different points. So Hyatt later died at the hospital. Demetrius, who is the ex-sick hood boyfriend, R. Hill, the 31 years old, also the same age, of Jamestown, has been charged with first-degree murder. He clearly intended to kill this woman. And possession of a firearm by a felon, has prior felony convictions. Additional charges are expected. He was being held in Guilford County Jail in High Point with no bond allowed, according to the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Now, I really want to talk about this man's criminal history, because this was very predictable that this man was going to kill this woman. All you have to do is look at his criminal record. It says no other information, including why the two were at the hotel, was released. Well, I already told you why. I think, in my opinion, this is just a humble opinion, that she was trying to hide the fact that she was going to rekindle this relationship with him. She was too embarrassed. It was already kind of it was not politically correct for her to be around this guy, because her family, her mother didn't like the guy, in my opinion, because parents have intuition about people. And I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, her mother told Anita not to date this man, that she needed to leave him alone on many occasions. Her sisters probably told her. Her friends told her. So she was embarrassed and was trying to hide it. That's why they went to the hotel. And they probably went there he probably told her to come there under the impression that they were going to talk. He's like, come on, let's just come and talk. Can we talk? But he had a sick, sinister plan in his mind to kill this woman. So looking at his criminal record, in 2008, Hill was convicted in Bun County on charges including assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury, conspiracy, and assault on an officer, according to the North Carolina Department of Public Safety. In 2009, Hill was convicted in Randolph County of robbery with a dangerous weapon. The incidents in both took place in 2007. So you can see a pattern here. This man constantly has firearms. Deadly weapon, I think it's a firearm. I'm just going to guess that it is. I'm going to make an educated guess. Intent to kill. He's already tried to kill someone back in 2008. And he had serious conspiracy. Looking at this man's record, you can tell that he was going to kill this woman at some point in time. A lot of these women think it's cool to date these type of men, though. They see, oh, he has a criminal record. This is cool to date this man. And I guarantee the mother probably already knew that this was going to happen, and she tried to plead with her daughter to leave this man, in my opinion, and she didn't listen. Okay, this has nothing to do with the Alysse part of it, but I just need to look at everything from all of it, all scopes. So he was released from prison in July 2020. This man only been released from jail for 2 years, and he already committed a murder, y'all. It's a mess. So let's take a look at his Facebook. Let's just get a little, let's dive deep into this to get different parts of what's going on with Alysse, what's going on in the background with her family. This is the sick man who murdered Alysse's sister here. What is going on? Come on, y'all, stop playing. Oh, sorry, guys, hold on. There it is. Okay, so this is him. I want to show you a photo of him with Anita, because this here right here was also foretelling the very words he used. So this is Anita here on the right. You're right here, Anita. That is Alysse's older sister. And this is the sick man who murdered her. Now, this was foretelling here, the words that he used. I'm so hood, she's so classy. A lot of classy women always get attracted to these hood men. There was a woman who was an attorney who was dating a hood man just like this guy and ended up getting brutally murdered by him. I don't know what it is and why women think it's cute to date these hood men, y'all, but it's not cute. Just a side note. Here he is again, y'all. That's his big little sis there. There he is again. He said, this has been a long time coming. I remember looking at magazines, just wishing, look at me now, okay? So I don't really need to go too much into this guy. I want to really go into Anita. I wanted to ask myself, how close is Anita Hyatt to her sisters? She studied criminal justice at North Carolina A&T State University. This is the thing I see, these common patterns with these domestic violence cases. These women are usually very highly educated. They're very successful. They're women that are career-oriented. They have it going on. And they always tend to be with these hood dudes that don't match their energy, does not match their socioeconomic level, their educational level. I don't know what it is, guys. Tell me in the chat, but it's a common pattern that I see and why we see these tragic stories happen all the time. But again, I'm getting off on another tangent, but again, I like to analyze everything. Notice here that it says single. She tried to break away from him because after a while, this guy was being very abusive to her, in my opinion. I'm just giving opinions, guys. But the thing is, that emotional tie and that emotional connection, he was using the charm, and he told her, let's talk one more time at that hotel. And I think that's exactly what led to this. This is Alysse's sister. You can see that they have the same exact eyes, same features. She's just an older version of Alysse. They look just alike in the eyes, the nose, the smile is similar. So I just wanted you guys to see some photos of her. And I was thinking, I want to see how close she is with Alysse. So I went through her photos before I got on this live, guys, and I don't see really any photos of her with Alysse on her page. And I'm thinking, okay, it doesn't mean that she's not close with her sister. It could just mean that she doesn't really post her sister. But I just thought, you know, why doesn't she have pictures with her sister up there at all? Like, she doesn't, I didn't see any birthday shout outs to Alysse or anything. Um, could there have been a rift in that relationship? Could that have been why Elise's reaction to the tragedy was not as, because I mean, if my sister was murdered, I wouldn't be sitting there at some vacation with the reactions I've seen Alysse have. Alysse just seemed like, you can tell something was on her mind, because there was one or two theories I had about Alysse. Either one, she's a blind passive follower that lacks any personality or any capability to formulate her own decision making, and so she just follows along in the pack, like one of those people who are very susceptible to um, peer pressure, type of thing like that, who just blindly follows. Or something's really bothering her and she's mentally not there. Well, it makes sense to me. This tragedy related to her sister, something on her mind at this party. She's trying to, distract herself from this tragedy. She already knew she was on the hook to go to this Cabo trip because she had already paid for it, couldn't get her money back. You guys know how these things go. Already on the hook for paying some portion of that Linda Villa. Who knows if she paid? Allegedly, there's rumors that Shanquella paid for the whole thing. But again, there's no receipts. We don't have any receipts. We have just people talking. And as you guys know, there's so many rumors out there that don't have receipts. But look, I'm scrolling here because I'm trying to figure out where is a photo of her with Alysse. And I just noticed that's just something I want to kind of add to the analysis of what was the scope of the sisterhood, or what was their relationship like. Because just because you have a sister, it might be a strained relationship. What if, and these are all just theories, guys, but what if they had some type of rift? Because I've had this too, and I'll tell you my little background why I think this could possibly be a theory. What if Alysse or other siblings that started distancing themselves from Anita because of her being with this abusive guy that they didn't like? They repeatedly told her to leave this man alone. She's not listening, and they just say, I'm just so tired and fed up with this dude and her being with this dude. And so it gets frustrating. And so they just kind of take a step back from their sister or whoever they're with, because they're just tired of them staying with this abusive dude that everybody knows is not treating them well. Because I'm like, I'm looking through all these posts. I went through her photos. She has a birthday party here. She turns 31 February. And of course, she takes her little solo photos, right? But I'm like, I looked through these two and I didn't see any photos with, like, what did she do that day? Did she hang out with her family, or it was just like solo photos? Thought that was interesting. But again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. You guys tell me what you think. I just thought it was interesting, like no photos at all but hold on, I'm still scrolling because there was one post where she tags Alysse in it. And you can tell that Alysse's name is blacked out, which shows us that Alysse deleted her Facebook. I'm really still, guys, wondering what, if anything, her retired police officer sister told her or advised her regarding this, because her sister should know very well that Alysse can be on the hook for accessory after the fact, for conspiracy to commit a murder, all kinds of different criminal charges, because her sister participated in a lie regarding how Tranquilla died, how she sustained her injuries, why was she unconscious. So that's another question, guys. You let me know what you think regarding that. What, if anything, does her officer's sister have? Because she tags the sister in a lot of stuff. Anita does. Andrea Lorraine. She's probably married now. She's this other sister, the law enforcement sister. She's probably married now, which is why she has a different last name. But you can see, we just kind of went through a couple. If you paid attention, she tags that other sister who is the law enforcement. She tags her a lot and stuff. So it seems as though her and that sister talk a lot. They have some type of solid relationship. I'm not going to keep going back this, but you can see she tags that sister a lot, but not really Alysse. And they do have somewhat of an age gap, so who knows, maybe they don't talk as often. But I'm just wondering, what was the scope of that sisterhood relationship? Was it strained in some way? Just a question I have, guys. You let me know if you think anything of that. But here you can see there's just nothing regarding Alysse in here. So at first I was questioning if this was really her sister until finally I came to a post where she posted her. Let me see if this is it. She tagged her in a photo, tagged her in a comment, and made a joke about it. So here she talks about her brother here. My brother, Andre Arthur Hyatt. See, so she's talking about other siblings, but again, I don't really see much. There's another one. She seems to be really close with Andrea, the police officer sister, because she tags her in a lot of stuff. So that means they're talking often about things. Again, see, I don't see much with Alysse. I'm wondering if what was the scope of that what was going on? What was going on with that relationship? And the reason why I say that is because, you know, sometimes even though you have sisters, sometimes you can be strained or have some issues with your sister because you don't like the things that your sister's doing. Who knows if Alysse was, you know, not irritated with her sister because she didn't like seeing her sister. This is the guy, Meet Reguard. This is the guy who murdered her. But she didn't like seeing her sister with this person. Doesn't mean that she didn't care about her sister. Doesn't mean that she wasn't devastated about what happened to her sister. And I think that she went on that trip because she was on the hook for it. She had already paid for it. It doesn't mean that she wasn't in a lot of pain because her sister died. It's just wondering just what was the condition of that sisterhood at the time. Because she talks a lot to the older sister. But again, see how long I'm scrolling, guys, and I still have not seen anything related to Alysse. She doesn't really talk a lot to that sister. They don't talk a lot. Alysse and Anita Hyatt don't seem to talk a lot. I'm still scrolling and I have not seen. See, she tags Sunny Hyatt. Still haven't seen. So to me, in my opinion, just making an assessment whether or not it really has any validity is that possibly they weren't as close. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys have some siblings where you're not as close with that sibling, but it in no way means that Alysse was not suffering and not in pain. See, I went all the way to January and I finally found a post where she tags Alysse here. And you can see it's in black because she deleted her Facebook. And she says, I want to work out. I really do. It's just my sister bald-headed. So she posts 3 of her sisters. And remember, this Andrea woman here we just went over is the police officer sister. And she seems to tag her a lot, which means they talk regularly. They're very close. They talk a lot about things going on a daily basis. So they have more of a stronger type bond sisterhood. And maybe she's not as talkative with Alysse like that. Whether or not it has anything to do with this case, I just wanted to look into that and see what that was about. But see, you see how long I had to scroll to find one thing that linked it? And the reason why I went through this process with you, because I was trying to show you why I was trying to confirm if they were in fact sisters, because that's one thing that I questioned too. I'm like, are they really sisters? Because I don't see anything about Alysse on this thing, you know, to show that they are siblings. So I had to go through all that to find that one little receipt to connect them, showing that maybe they weren't as close of siblings like that. Doesn't mean that Alysse wasn't suffering because her sister died. It's just something to think about in the background as we look into this. This is Alysse's mother. And the reason why I want to go on here, because this page here is going to show us some of the siblings involved. So here, you know, talking about what happened to Anita, she's talking about the celebration of life that happened November 11th. She's, which is pretty sad. I feel sad for this mom because, man, she has to bury her older child. Plus, now she hears that her sister comes home. Hears that her daughter, Alysse, comes home from a trip and her friend was brutally taken out of this world. So it's a lot going on with the mother too. But I wanted to get on here to try to see if I could show you the sisters. So there is a photo on here that shows you the sisters all together on here. That's why I'm on her page in particular. But it takes a while to get to the photo, guys. So sorry that I'm scrolling a lot. Whether or not this makes anything, but I think it's interesting to go into the background of these people just to kind of learn and put things together. But that's one thing I noticed is that I don't know what was the extent of that sisterhood relationship. I think now when you put this into the whole situation, Alysse wasn't really mentally there. She really was probably not even present at the Cabo trip. She was so focused on what was going on with the tragedy of her sister, but she knew that she had to go to this trip because she had already paid for it. And so went out of a form of responsibility and the fact that she couldn't get reimbursed. But she is still ethically wrong, and she is criminally wrong for taking part in the murder and beating of Shanquella. And it just makes it even more sick and sinister when you think about Alysse, because her sister was brutally murdered by her boyfriend the day before she sits there idle watching Dejanay brutally beat Shanquella to death and doesn't do anything about it. Doesn't step up to defend her, doesn't step up to say anything. And now it makes me question, what was going on in her mind at that time? Was she so focused and so just heartbroken about her sister that she really couldn't think about it? And see, this is Alysse here. These are the siblings. All right. So here is Alysse. There's Alysse. This is the police officer's sister. There's Alysse right here. The police officer's sister. There's Anita. Anita, the police officer's sister. There's Anita right there. So just give us a background. There's Anita with her mom. So she has a pretty big family. She has a lot of siblings, y'all. And there is that police officer's sister that we were looking at that looks just like her. So let's look at that one more time. Hold on, guys. Right here. She's the officer, that sister that looks just like her. That's an interesting thing I thought we need to put into the whole analysis, that her sister is in law enforcement, yet Alysse is involved in a murder, in a conspiracy to cover up a murder. Who knows? People are alleging that she took part in it, but there's no receipts to show that. So at this point, I'm not going to really put that into the analysis. My analysis at this time, until we get some actual receipts that she actually physically beat up Shanquella, is that she sat there and watched Shanquella get beat to death. And even though she knew that her sister was brutally murdered the day before, and she knew how it felt to experience the loss of someone blood related, she was experiencing the pain of that as she was on the trip, which shows if she really showed no mental or emotional contribution to that trip or to whatever was going on that trip, because you could just tell she mentally wasn't there. And we can see that by those videos that we watched before. I'm not going to go over those videos again because we'll be here all day, guys. But in those videos, sorry, guys. So she was no contribution to that trip. She just wasn't. She wasn't there mentally. But it just shows the sickness and the sinister and the evilness of these people. Because it's like, you knew your sister was dead. You knew your sister was brutally murdered. And God forbid, if anybody I knew was brutally murdered the day before and I'm seeing somebody being attacked, don't you think that would give you even more empathy to want to stand up and defend and protect that person? Because you know how it feels to lose someone. You know how it feels to experience the loss of a blood relative. That's to me what makes it even, it adds the weight of more evilness in this case. So I wanted to go over that, guys. Sorry for all the scrolling. I had to do that just to show you, just to make a point, guys. That's really why I was doing it, is that number one, on the Anita page, you can really tell who's close with someone based on their interactions on social media. And I thought it was just kind of telling to me and interesting that we had to scroll forever and ever and ever to get to a January post where she finally tags Alysse in it. But you can see on a regular basis, she's tagging Andrea, who is the police officer's sister, a lot. She's tagging her brother in photos, in different discussions. So it kind of gives me analysis that maybe, even probably because of the age gap, maybe, who knows, that they weren't as close of siblings. Who knows if that has any context to the whole analysis, because I'm pretty sure Alysse was very hurt that her sister tragically died. I'm pretty sure she was. But I think she pretty much was stuck in this trip because she already paid for it. But guys, the thing is, go back and rewatch those videos. Go back to watch the videos from NC Beat regarding the day that Shanquella was going around looking for the people in the villa and finds them. You will start focus only on Alysse. Look at Alysse's behavior in the room. Look at Alysse's behavior when they're at the taco bar and how she walks and sits down. And then also assess the game, and then look at the end. You can just hear how a little bit delicate Khalil's voice is as he tells her to play. I think he was showing empathy to her because she probably wasn't really happy. She was thinking about her sister, and he probably was showing empathy to her because they already had known what was happening, and she was trying to make the best of the trip. That's just the background thing I'm making of the whole situation. But at the end of the day, to me, based on all this and summarizing all this, it makes me think of how I believe still sinister and callous Alysse is. She was the quiet person in the room that, in my opinion, had a sick, sinister mindset to sit here and passively watch this woman here be brutally murdered in front of her. I would think if somebody close to me was murdered the day before through violence, that it would make me even more empathetic to when I'm witnessing someone being beat to death. That would make me even more emboldened and passionate to step up and protect. Yet she sat there and did nothing. Could it have been because she was so distracted by her thoughts and her pain and her grieving of her sister? Or is there something sinister behind it? You guys be the judge. Let me know what you think about that. Sorry I talked a lot in this video, but I wanted to really go into the full background of what we have of Alysse, to look at her, because she was the quiet person in the room that a lot of people aren't really talking about. A lot of people are talking about Khalil. A lot of people are talking about Nazir. A lot of people are talking about Winter. A lot of people are talking about Dejanay. But no one's really talking about Alysse because she wasn't really mentally present. She was kind of the invisible person there because she sat there as a hollow shell because she was not mentally at that trip. She was so immersed in her pain and grieving of just being notified that day, October 28th, of her sister being brutally murdered, which to me would have make me see that she should have been more empathetic to Shanquella, but yet she sat there. That's the sick thing about it. She sat there and watched this girl get murdered. That's sick, guys. That's evil to me. That's another level of evilness to me. Because that, I would think, if you lose someone that close to you, blood, kin, your sister, that would enable you to have a level of empathy higher than others because you know what it feels like to experience a loss of that grandiose scale. But the fact that she that didn't give her enough good consciousness in her to step up and defend Shanquella, that is just very evil. There's a lot of evil darkness surrounding this story, a lot of death, a lot of lack of empathy. And it just shows, guys, what is going on with this particular generation of individuals. So let's see what you guys got to say before we leave, because I talked a whole lot. I want to see what you guys can add to this analysis. Yanni says, this is interesting. Yanni says, I agreed. This is a theory, maybe because Alysse was experiencing the loss of her sister and Shanquella was all hype at Cabo and her right, as her right, and they didn't feel it was appropriate. Exactly, Yanni. Okay, I'm glad. We're going to really get into these comments because you guys are going to add to this analysis. I'm glad that you said that, Yanni. Exactly. Let's add this to the analysis. This is probably why there was so much anger as it related to Alysse. As it related to Shanquella. Sometimes I misspeak. As it related to Shanquella. Shanquella was the only person that was happy, that was excited, that was jovial, that was loud. She was making okay. As it relates to the Cabo 6 and their perception of Shanquella was an outsider. We already talked about this in other videos, okay? She wasn't a part of their inner circle. She knew them years later in college, and their level of friendship was more of an acquaintance because they went to the same school. So we have to put that out there. The reason why I had to say that to you is because some of the comments that Shanquella made, like calling them HOs and calling them Bs and doing sarcastic jokes about how they exercise, they didn't take that well. It enraged them because, number one, they already were jealous of this girl, number one. The reason why there's more evidence that they were jealous of her because of how Dejanay beat this woman in the particular locations where she was beating her. Notice how in the video, go back and watch the video, she's punching Shanquella in the face. That is very telling. She was punching her in the face because she envied Shanquella's beauty and she wanted to dismantle it. She was so focused on punching her face. It was a lot of upper body attacks to Shanquella. She could have hit all over different places. When you're angry and you're in impassioned behavior, you can hit all kinds of places. But what was telling to us, which could really show the underlying hatred she had towards this woman, was that she focused on Shanquella's face. She punched in the head. That's why you notice when they talked about bruisings, she had a knot on her head, her eyes were swollen, her lip was swollen, because she got a lot of the attacks on the face. That is telling there was a lot of envy of this woman's beauty, of everything that she represented. But let's add to what Yanni said. Shanquella's over here laughing and happy. Alysse is grieving the loss of her sister. She's experiencing pain. Shanquella's coming in there laughing, joking, calling people HOs and all this stuff. And that could have enraged them even more. They're like, how is she over here joking and have the nerve to step over boundaries that she doesn't even have by calling us B's and hoes? And Alysse is here grieving the loss of her sister. She's so insensitive. Okay, that's probably the stuff they were saying about her, because you can look at the demeanor of Dejanay. You can see how everybody is very somber in that room. It's a very somber room, and the only person that's glowing and happy is Shanquella. So that is another piece that we need to put in there of why there was so much rage when Shanquella was attacked, because like Yanni was saying, they're also thinking that Shanquella is being insensitive to a tragedy. She's trying to joke around and make all these offensive jokes because they took her jokes that way. And they felt she was insensitive. I think Yanni is onto something, and I think it's something we should add to the equation, because now we're getting more pieces of what was going on with different people, different characters in this tragedy. We need to look at what's going on with different people so that we can put the pieces together. And I'm really glad that Yanni said that, because that really does help us see, because a lot of us was thinking, why? There was something that was building up and boiling inside of Dejanay that had happened over time. And she was in a fit of rage when she attacked Shanquella that day, because at the very end, she made a spontaneous statement saying, I am tired of your SHIT. That's when someone has reached their maximum level. She was more emboldened and more impassioned because she probably also was thinking you're being insensitive to a friend, well, her friend, Dejanay's friend, not Shanquella's friend. Shanquella is an outsider, remember. You're being insensitive to the situation that's happening with my friend. You're being disrespectful. You're coming to our room asking us to get naked or whatever. You're over here skinny dipping outside while we're sitting here trying to cope with and console our friend, and you're being completely insensitive. And I'm not saying that about Shaquilla. I want people to not take it the wrong way, because I already know people are going to try to attack me and say I'm saying these things. I'm not saying these things. I'm saying I'm getting into the mind of what Dejanay and those women were saying behind Shanquella's back. That's what I'm thinking they were saying, and why Dejanay was so emboldened by that. And there's no fault to Shanquella, because Shanquella really probably didn't even know the scope of it. And what if, you guys, I don't think Shanquella even knew probably about it. Maybe she didn't even know, because they're in their inner circle. So they're talking about things that are going on with their inner circle, right? They may not even told her that type of information. That's what I'm thinking. Since Shanquella is an outsider, they're probably not going to open up to her about a loss in the family. There's certain things that they're going to keep within their circle, because she doesn't have that level of friendship with them to be able to get into their inner circle to talk about that sensitive information. So Shanquella probably didn't even know. That's my opinion. My opinion is Shanquella didn't know. My opinion is that they knew about it because they're in an inner group, which is why they were isolated in one room when you have a huge villa that had 5 different rooms. Even though this villa had 5 different rooms, you see every single one of those, the Cabo clique. I call them the Cabo clique, guys, because they were in a clique. They had a 10-year friendship, and Shanquella was the outsider. They were all in this room talking, and they were getting annoyed by her because there was so much emotional tension in that circle because of what was going on with Alysse, what was going on with their animosity with Shanquella. They didn't care about her. And so they were irritated by Shanquella's happiness. Shanquella probably don't even know what's going on. You notice how Shanquella was lost looking for them. Like, where are you guys? Don't take you that long. She already was kind of feeling suspicious. Like, why is everybody in one room and I'm just sitting out here by myself? Because she's not in that inner circle. So she's not privy to what they're talking about. She's not privy to the tragedies that they're confiding in one another about. She doesn't know. So her happiness is further enraging this group, in my opinion. This is just my humble opinion, guys. Her happiness is enraging this group. And that's why I think Dejanay exploded that day. Because there is something behind why she said, I'm tired of your SHIT. It had to have been something that was building up over time. And now it's starting to make sense why it was so somber, like a funeral in that villa. Nobody was having fun but Shanquella the whole time. And they were getting more and more irritated with her because she's over here happy. While, Alysse is probably grieving, but Shanquella doesn't know because she's not in the inner circle. I don't think she knew. I really don't, because Shanquella is such a sweet girl based upon what her mother and father say. If she knew about the tragedy that Alysse was going through, she would have showed a different perspective. She would have been there for the girl, even if it's not her friend. She would have shown empathy. Because she seems very, just a very loving, caring young lady based on the things that I've seen out there about her. I don't think she knew, but I think because they knew about it and they were getting annoyed and angry by her because she's having fun because she doesn't know what's going on. She's enjoying her trip. It's a vacation. She's trying to pump everybody up. She notices people are acting really somber and weird and closed off, and she's trying to liven up the party. She's trying to get people to, let's have fun. It's your birthday. But she doesn't know that they're dealing with some tragedy stuff going on. And they probably they're like, why is this outsider? Why is she, Khalil, why'd you bring her? Because I know she was invited by Khalil. There's actual statements from the parents saying that Khalil invited her, not the Cabo 6. She said Khalil invited her. So that's telling to you that there's no indication that they really wanted her there. Shanquella was there because she supplied the money. A lot of these people go on these big trips with a big group of people because they divide up the expenses. But there's rumors that Shaquilla paid for the majority of this trip. We don't know. Again, there's no receipts, guys. So a lot of this is just rumors. I'm trying to show you guys a difference that I want you to look at. So if you watch the other videos, oh my God, they deleted everything. If you watch the other videos that we talked about with this trip, notice how everybody's like in their own little world. No one's letting Shanquella in. Shanquella seems to be the outsider. Oh, they deleted it, guys. There was a video on here. Oh, look, there's a video here. Oh, we're able to watch it, yeah. Hold on, guys. Let's watch this real quick because I want to see if we can get a look at Alysse again. Yeah, this is what I'm really thinking, y'all. I'm thinking Alysse was trying to get her mind off the tragedy. I'm pretty sure you guys have done that before. Take yourself and think of some experiences you've had where you try to distract yourself. For example, one way is maybe you had experienced a breakup. And so you go out to the club and you party and you drink to get your mind off the tragedy. That's not a comparable tragedy to losing a sister, but it's just kind of an example of someone trying to distract themselves. But listen closely at the end of this game here.
Winter, come on now. You be working. Deja, we know you weren't working on upper body when you was working out. Come on, let me see what you got, Winter. Winter, what is that? I'm just playing. What a card, man. These people here.
Come on, Alysse, grab a card.
Did you hear that? He said, come on, Alysse, grab a card. Because people kept saying Alysse wasn't there. She was there. She was there. She was trying to distract herself from the tragedy. But I just wanted people to know that because people kept saying she wasn't there. She was there. But if you listen to Khalil's voice in that video, it just sounded like he was trying to be delicate with her. That's just kind of what I read from him, was trying to be delicate. And now that makes sense because I've heard that before. And I was thinking that, and I was thinking in the back of my head, I never brought it up in any videos because I didn't know the whole context of her losing her sister. But now that I realize she lost her sister, because when I first heard his voice and the tone of his voice, I'm like, why is he being so delicate with Alysse like she's a child? Like he's way too, come on, Alysse, it's your turn now. I'm like, he's talking to her like she a kid. I'm like, this girl really obviously doesn't have a brain of her own. She's just some girl who follows what everybody says. That's what I used to think about her when I saw the videos because it didn't seem like she really added anything to the group. But now it makes sense to me because she mentally wasn't there. Her mind was focused on the loss of her sister, but she had no choice to come to this trip because she already committed to it, already paid the trip to go there. It happened the very day she was supposed to fly out. So she thought, okay, I'll use this as an opportunity to try to just have a little bit of fun because I know when I go back home, I'm going to have to face the reality that my sister is gone. She's still not a good person, I'm telling you. I don't think she is because to me, if I lost someone that close to me because of a violent murder, that would make me even more empathetic if I'm seeing somebody being violently taken out of this world. I would be more prone to try to defend that person, but she just sat there. She passively sat there. But the theory can go either way, guys. It can either go because she was so immersed in her pain and her agony about her sister that she really wasn't even there to even try to help or responsive to even try to help Shanquella because she's still grieving her sister. Or it could be that callous part of it that she was taking part in it because she was fed up with Shanquella being insensitive to the situation that's going on. And it's like Shanquella probably didn't even know. You know what I mean? When people lose someone, it can make you feel angry because you lost that person. You go through different various stages of grief. First, you go through disbelief. You're shocked about it. You're like, no, this is not real. You're in denial. Then you go through a phase of anger. You're angry that this happened, almost to a violent anger. Then you go through a phase that it starts hitting reality and you start going through a phase of depression and mourning. So the question is, what phase was Alysse in on the 29th? She could have been still in the disbelief phase, trying to figure out, was this really real? But yet still clouded and immersed with that loss. Or she could have been in the stage of anger and feeling like, this girl's over here having fun and being insensitive and being, in her opinion, she's being rude, making all these jokes when she hasn't established the extent of the relationship that they have with one another to be able to make these type of jokes. Because if it was within their inner circle making those same jokes, calling people HOs and other things, it would have been acceptable because they're accepted in one another. They have that 10-year foundation. They're a clique, but Shanquilla's an outsider to them. So they don't feel she can say those type of jokes to them, especially in the midst of a tragedy that, Alysse is experiencing the loss of her sister. But it's still, to me, there's a sixth sinister part to this, that you're seeing someone be brutally murdered when the day before your sister was murdered. Wouldn't that make you more prone to step up and protect and try to defend life? That, to me, just makes her even more evil to me. You guys tell me what you think, but that's another side to it. But it can go either way. Like I told you, it could just be that she was so paralyzed by the pain of her sister that she wasn't even focused on trying to defend anybody because she's so distracted by that, the loss of her sister. Or the other callous part of it. Was she angry and tired of Shanquella because Shanquella, in her mind, was being insensitive to, what was going on? Maybe because she could see that there was sadness. Because, guys, there's another information floating out there. And I don't know if this is true because I didn't see this part of the video. Some people are saying they think that Shanquella was dragged out of the bed and was still kind of sleeping when she was confronted, and that's why she looked so dazed, looking around and confused. I don't know if that's true, guys, because I didn't see that in the fighting video. You let me know. She looked awake to me. But some people are saying that Dejanay just walked in there. They all ambushed her and dragged her out the bed. So that could also be another theory of if she was awakened by all these people and wasn't even, when you're just getting woke up and you're not really all the way there yet because you're still trying to wake up. So that could be another theory. There's so many rumors floating around, guys. We don't know what's true these days. But let's play this again.
Because we used to drink motherfucking
Drink.
You notice she's the only one loud and happy. They were all irritated, all of them, because they were like, she needs to just stop. You know what I mean? She's always doing this. That's why Dejanay said, I'm tired of your SHID. It was all building up. And I think it was already going on before this trip, though. Listen closely to the end at Khalil's voice, though. That's really why I'm...
Winter, come on now.
You be working.
Deja, we know you weren't working on upper body when you was working out. Come on, let me see what you got, Winter. Winter, what is that? I'm in this plane. What a card, man. These people here.
Come on, Alysse, grab a call.
See, I just felt the way he was so delicate with her, with his voice. It just sounded like somebody who's trying to be empathetic to someone who's in grieving or in pain. He's like, come on, Alysse, your turn. Because I noticed that before, guys, and now it makes sense to me. Because before, in the back of my mind, and I didn't bring it up in any videos because I was like, wondering, I'm like, man, I told you before, like I was thinking that maybe that Alysse just is that type of person that just is passive and just follows the crowd and doesn't really have a mind of her own. That's what I was thinking about her. But now I'm like, okay, it makes sense why he was so delicate with her. It's because he was trying to be empathetic because he already knew the background story of her sister losing her life and her grieving. Guys, I'm trying to show you another post here of Shanquella on another trip, and you compare the energy of that trip versus the energy we had in another trip. But it looks like the person who loaded that video, and the thing is, we just saw it earlier. That's the thing. What's irritating about this is we just saw that video earlier. Let's see. Maybe I passed it up. It's deleted now. What in the world? Somebody went and deleted that video. Yeah, that sucks, guys. I was trying to show you guys another trip that Shanquella went on, and you could see the energy in that particular trip, how the people in the video were dancing with Shanquella. They were looking at her. They included her in the dance. She was very welcomed by the group of girls. You could tell the energy was very positive and receptive to her. Whereas on the trip with the Cabo Six, it was different. It was very sick, sinister, closed off kind of energy. And I really don't think Shanquella was privy to what was going on, because usually when you have those close inner circle relationships, you will confide with your close friends about a tragedy you're experiencing. But when there's an outsider, you're not going to tell them certain information. I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of that. You know, you have certain friends where you feel you have a stronger relationship with, where you will tell them about some things that you're going through. Maybe you're experiencing stuff in your family or relationship, a breakup. You may tell that person because you have a stronger relationship with them. But, oh, what is this? No, what is this, guys? My God, I'm so sorry, Queen. You've been trying since 2020 to get me to read. Oh, guys, let's look at this. There's some more tea that just randomly came out. Okay, so this lady here is a psychic. This is random, guys. Oh, yeah, this is just a random tea. This lady here is a psychic. Okay, and it looks like Shanquella had been trying to get her to do a read for her. And she said, you've been trying since 2020 to get me to read you. It was blocked. Spirit, why wasn't I allowed to say this, baby? Why? I didn't even realize I ever spoke to her and we were friends. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I'm so nauseous, never had an experience like this. This is very interesting, y'all. Let's just take a look at some of the communications. She says, hey, Miss Patty, did you know the young lady, Shanquella Robinson, who was killed in Mexico, follows your page? I was being nosy on her page and seen she follows that as follows. That's your reading, baby. And she said, my God, no. Oh my God, woo child. Yes, I was like, whoa, my God, we've been talking about it all day today. Me, my son, and his girlfriend, I wouldn't pull on it, my God. So let's see what Shanquella said, you guys. This is from Shanquella that she messaged this girl about her reading. And she said, oh, God, sorry. Why is this doing this? Sorry, this thing is sensitive, guys, so please forgive me, okay? So Shanquella wrote this psychic lady. She said, hi, I'm inboxing you about a reading. And she said, hello, love. And this was November 30th, 2020. So it looks like Shanquella was really into like psychic, spiritual things, which can open the door to satanic spirits and all kinds of evil demonic things. Guys, you got to be careful with that. There's also a spiritual aspect to this. Because when you're involved in those spiritual things, it can open doors to certain demons and demonic forces and all kinds of things. But anyways, the psychic said generals are 20, channeling is 60, so your relationship read you need is covered under general. And Shanquella said, can you please explain the difference between the two options? How did you know I wanted a relationship read? And she said, LOL, psychic, you're not wasting your time. However, both of you got some toxic traits. She said, what's your payment method? She said, channeling is me doing medium work, spreading with the deceased, Cash App or PayPal. My next slot is 7:30. Thereafter that, I'm booked for something. I don't know what that part says. It's blocked off. Oh, wait, is that? Oh, and then she said, what's your availability? What's your Cash App name? And she gave all that information. Can you please keep that live up? She said, I did. She said, hey, I sent my payment and you ended the live. I didn't receive my reading. She said, I'll be at 6:30. I'm sorry. So you want to refund? And I have therapy session. She said, okay, I'll tune in. And she said, can you please book a reading? This was, oh my, this girl was, I mean, Shanquella really was following her because this is now December 1st, 2021 of last year that she still was getting readings from this lady. Oh, she said, I was live all day yesterday. Just remind me when you catch my live that your read is paid, your read is paid. She said, can you please book me a reading? This was December 1st, 2021. She said, yes, I have 12:45 Eastern open tomorrow. It's 6:30. I mean, it's $60 chain breaker, whatever. That's her cash app. She said, how long is your reading for? 30 to 45 minutes. She said, do you have Apple Pay? She said, when is your next availability? She was getting reading from this lady, guys, from November 2020 all the way to this year. January 2022, she wrote her. March 23, 2022. March 23, 2022. She had been getting regular readings from this lady. And you see how she's been booking all these sessions? And she said, I'm actually booked till Saturday. My slots fill up super fast. Could you recommend me to anyone else? And she seemed like her readings were really focused on romantic relationships when in reality, she has some demons around her. So look, you can see all the way to April, she's still getting bookings. A lot of these sessions. Good morning, any availability for today? Okay, understandable. What's your next availability? She was getting, this is April 8th of 2022. Please tell me you have something for tonight, April 26th, May 1st, 2022. What's your availability? She was getting all kinds of meetings from this lady. Good morning, how much to send? I have PayPal and all that. So that is very interesting now, guys. This is getting deep, y'all. I didn't know this story was this deep. Every time we come and talk about this story, y'all, there's more stuff coming out. There's like a spiritual demonic force around this thing. She was into psychic mediums and getting regular psychic readings dating from 2020 all the way up to April of this year, and probably even more. I didn't go into all those. I didn't really do every single last one of those things, but that's interesting, right, guys? I didn't even know that was there. So I thought I could find that video, guys. It looks sadly as though they took that video down. Things are constantly going up and going down. Don't you think that's interesting? What do you guys think, if anything, the influence of the psychic mediums and the readings that Shanquella was getting? Do you think that had some spiritual influence on this story? There's so much crazy stuff about this story, right? Now I'm seeing the spiritual part of it. There's a lot of demonic death spirit stuff in this story. Things that could have been attracted spiritually, dark, sinister demon stuff. And it does take the protection of God off of you when you're into like a lot of demonic, dark sorcery, spiritual things. And I didn't want to touch on that part of it because you know how people are in there talking about conspiracy stuff about sacrifices and stuff. So I didn't want to get into that because I don't think this is a sacrifice. But now I can see the demonic part of it because she was into a lot of that psychic stuff and spiritual stuff. So she wasn't able to hear the voice of God who could have warned her, which is why she didn't see the signs. This is making sense now. This is why she couldn't see the signs when she was in the villa, and it seemed like she was so happy trying to make the best of everything, the most bubbly. She couldn't really read the energy because she wasn't even able to hear from God, if anything, because she was so clouded by, these other spiritual resources that she was clinging to. Man, this is deep, y'all. This is just my opinion, though. All this is just a theory, guys. I don't know what's going on. I'm just giving a theory. Yanni says, I pray Alysse steps up because of her sister and her guilt. Yeah, guys, I think that's very important thing to know, that her sister is law enforcement. So I hope that her sister has been advising her. And now, guys, I was thinking an outsider released that video, right? That was my theory. But that was before I realized that she has a sister who is in law enforcement. That could add a whole different fact. So a lot of times you see my videos, they're evolving by the day because we're getting additional information that adds to the analysis. See, the day before, I didn't know that her sister was an officer. So that adds something to the analysis, because now you have to ask, what, if anything, because you know her sister of 10-year experience has advised her what's going on. Which makes me think, guys, has she spoke to law enforcement? Did she go in and give information to the authorities? Because I'm wondering, that sister should be advising her that she needs to go to the authorities and she needs to come clean. Because if she doesn't, she is going to likely be on the hook. Because if you guys watch my prior video, I don't know if it's up yet, but I uploaded a video about this prosecutor that's involved. The Mexican prosecutor, the attorney general. Based on my review of him, at first I was a little worried about him because I saw that he only filed one charge, and I was thinking that he was cutting corners. But I looked at his background, and he is a high-profile attorney in Mexico, and he's the type of attorney that doesn't take shortcuts, meaning he doesn't give plea bargaining. And as you guys know, plea bargaining is very big in America. For a lot of these prosecutors are always trying to, end these cases and take shortcuts and plea bargain cases out because they don't want to go to trial, or they don't feel they have enough evidence. So they're always cutting these defendants a deal. But this Mexican prosecutor that's on the case doesn't do plea bargaining. That shows you how very strict this prosecutor is. So he's going to throw the book at Desjardins. Desjardins is going to spend multiple decades in prison. And as it stands, she is a fugitive right now. And whoever is hiding her can also and will also likely be on the hook for obstruction of justice, accessory. After the fact, they're going to be charged with harboring a fugitive. But with that being said, because this prosecutor is so strict and he's very thorough, and he is known to prosecute very high-profile cases, a lot of cases that involve a lot of conspiracies and, drug cartel and immoral, dishonest conduct of law enforcement, government officials, all that stuff. That's why he was assigned, because there has been some rumors of lying and unethical things going on with the officers involved, the doctor involved, all these people involved. That's why they hired him. That's why they appointed him, not hired him. That's why they appointed him to the case. So with that being said, because there's a very strict prosecutor on this case, cutthroat, this prosecutor is no joke, that the sister of Alysse should be advising Alysse to come clean. Because if she does not, she's going to face many decades in prison, because Mexico law is completely different than American law. In Mexico, you don't have the constitutional rights that we have in America. None of those. It's a rough ball game. So y'all, this really adds to the analysis about that law enforcement sister to really figure out, did that law enforcement sister tell her to leak the video to try to take off the responsibility off of Alysse? Because at first, before that video was released, the family was holding everybody accountable. And of course, they still are right now. I'm just saying, guys. But based on the autopsy, it looked like everybody was involved in taking part in murdering this girl, right? Even though they are, I'm just saying. But on the outside, it looked like nobody knew who actually directly beat this woman. Nobody knew. But the parents saw that Shanquella's neck was cracked and her back was cracked. That's all she saw. But she knew there was 6 other people on this trip. So in my opinion, it's starting to make me think, did the law enforcement sister tell Alysse, you need to release that video? Because if you release the video, it takes the weight off you. The focus will be on Desjardins. And hopefully you can get off the hook. You know what I mean? So that's the question I have. You guys let me know what you think about that. Give me your analysis, because there's all kind of things that could have happened with that tape. Either somebody on the outside released it. That's still my strong stance. I think someone on the outside. But it's a question that I have. Did the law enforcement sister encourage Alysse to release the video, to try to take the eyes and the lenses off of her and put all the lenses on Desjardins? That's the question I just have. It's just a question. It's not I'm keeping with my same original theory that I think an outsider released the video, but it's still a question I have about the law enforcement sister. And what, if anything, she's telling Alysse? Because she has to be advising her, given her 10-year law enforcement experience, because she knows what kind of criminal charges Alysse can be on the hook for lying to police officers about the cause of a death. She is on the hook. And so that is something we need to ask, y'all. Yanni says, that's sad seeing her post and knowing she was killed. I know, guys. That is so sad, man. But, guys, I'm going to try to find that video, or at least go on Facebook to find that video of Shanquella on another trip. And you will see how she's all in red. She's dressed in red, and she's dancing on a boat with a bunch of women. And you will see the different energy of how everybody's accepting of Shanquella on that trip. There's even one woman that looks back at Shanquella, which to me shows that they're friends and they're accepting and they're open and their energy is very welcoming. And you compare that energy with the energy Shanquella got on the Cabo during the Cabo trip that ended her life. And you can see the difference. I just wasn't able to find it because it looks like somebody deleted it. Mandrina says, I missed it. I just came in, but I will see when you're done. That's why when I heard that, I just didn't understand why she didn't stop it. Exactly, Mandrina. We have to add that to the analysis. And sorry, guys, I'm talking a lot on this. That's just how I analyze stuff. I'm very wordy and I'm very redundant. That's just how I am. But Mandrina does say that's why I heard it and I didn't understand why she didn't stop it. There's two different theories behind that. She could have been paralyzed by the mental pain that she was dealing with her sister, that she was so clouded by that grieving, or she's just a very callous person. But even with all that, even if you go with any one of those theories, at the end of the day, when you lose somebody to a violent crime, I think it would make you more empathetic when you see somebody else being violently beaten to death. It would make you rise up to the equation to that part and try to rise up to, your responsibility to try to help intervene. But there's also another part of the analysis that she could have been angry at Shanquella because she felt like Shanquella was being insensitive, that Shanquella was over here having fun and partying while she couldn't read the room, that everybody else is in a somber state. You know what I mean? So she could have been angry too, and she could have took her aggression out on Shanquella because she's experiencing a death. And again, there's stages to grief when someone loses someone. And she could have been at the stage of anger. Who knows? And people go through the grieving stage at different paces than other people. Some people go through it, and the denial phase could happen for many, many days, many, many weeks until they get to the anger stage. And then until they get to the acceptance and depression, sadness, grieving stage. So we don't know what stage Alysse was in. The lead attorney just finished if you guys could not put the name of other people in the chat, I think that just takes away from my page and what we're talking about. But you just said, just finished the live, and in the live, the Mexico reporter speaks. He reported that in a second video, it shows, a woman was trying to stop the fight. I believe with Miss Hyatt. Okay, Wanda. Wanda did come with something, y'all. So she's saying in a second video, it shows a woman was trying to stop a fight. Interesting, y'all. Let's analyze this. I think Wanda's right. I think Wanda's right that it's Miss Hyatt, and this is why. On the video in the fight, you can hear the voice of Winter, and you can hear the voice of Malik. Malik, when Shanquella's being attacked by Dejanay, Malik says, "Why don't you fight back?" So he's supporting his best friend of 10 years, the godmother of his child, the one that he says, "I got you 100% for life." Remember that post we talked about? He is loyal to her 100%. Then you hear another voice, because he says, "Why don't you fight back, Shanquella?" And she says no, right? Shanquella says no. Well, there's another voice on that video. Go back to the video. You will hear Winter Donovan say, "Why does she have to fight back?" So we know it wasn't Winter Donovan that tried to stop that fight, because Winter Donovan was on Dejanay's side. advocating for Dejanay and in support of Shaquella being beat brutally. The only voice, and we do see, if you look on the right, on the left side, you will see Khalil standing there idle, not doing anything, but non-responsive, not trying to intervene. You don't see anywhere where Alysse is present. So if this video exists, like Wanda said, and I appreciate Wanda adding this to it, I just don't sometimes like you to mention certain people's name, especially, because it just takes away from my page and our analysis, but you can at least mention some of the facts you have here. If there's a second video, so guys, we know there's a second video because we at least are hearing from a Mexican reporter. The Mexican officials have more information than we have. They have the videos. This is a receipt. This is what I've been wanting to receive regarding the second video, because the first time we heard about a second video, it was only hearsay. And you guys already know hearsay is weak evidence. You can't use that in a court of law unless you have a valid exception. So I really wasn't going with the second video. It's hearsay. But now we have a reporter saying there's a second video. That means they talked to a source from law enforcement or from the criminal prosecutor's office, which means they know about that other second video. And I think there's multiple videos, y'all. And I agree with Wanda that it probably was Alysse that tried to stop the fight, which makes sense to me, guys, because like I told you, when you lose a sibling to violence, it makes you more prone to be empathetic when you see someone else being violently taken out of this world. It makes you rise up to your responsibility. That's why I said there could be one of three things going on in that story. Is one, she's so, like I said, paralyzed to her grief. Two, she's angry at, how Shanquella's having all this fun and is insensitive to the situation, and she's in the angry phase of her grieving process. Or three, she needs to rise to the occasion and try to help this girl. So Wanda's saying that there's possibly a video out there showing that. She tried to step in. So that's a good thing. If this video exists, Wanda, that is a good thing. The problem I still have with Miss Hyatt, you guys, is that she did not tell the truth to the doctor that could have saved her life, to tell the doctor that Shanquella experienced a massive beating that could have caused severe injuries to her, because the doctor rendered improper medical treatment to Shanquella that could have aggravated her injuries. She did 3 hours of CPR on this girl. That caused probably even more injuries to Shanquella, and a strong likelihood she wouldn't have survived because she wasn't getting the emergency treatment that she needed for the severe, grave injuries that she had. So that's still the problem I have with Miss Hyatt at the end of the day. Even if she did try to step up and help, she conspired to lie. She didn't say anything to the doctor because there's no evidence of that. Right? That's weird. Or there could have been a cover-up, which is why this De La Rosa guy is on the case. Maybe Alysse could have told the doctor, hey, she's been brutally beaten, which is why the doctor said we need to get her to the hospital. But the law enforcement was like, no, let's just go ahead and cover up, because you guys know the owner of that villa did not want it to get out that a murder had happened at his place. He was trying to cover it up, keep his name clean, because he didn't want people, especially Americans, not wanting to come to that villa, not wanting to come to Mexico. So he was in on it too. There was 3 different people that were in on this conspiracy, which is why the prosecutor's going after them too. Allegedly, he's investigating them too. There's a lot to this case that, of course, the Mexican officials are not really coming out about, that they're still investigating. But still, I still am side-eyeing Alysse just because of the fact that she didn't say anything to the doctor, allegedly. But we don't really know what's going on with that, y'all. We don't know if they put false information in there. We don't know if some of the people in that group paid off the law enforcement and the doctor to keep their mouth shut and give misinformation on police reports, because there have been instances where officers will lie on certain police reports. It's nothing new, guys. Nothing new. So I do appreciate Wanda's input on that. Did you know allegedly Winter was the only one to speak Spanish? What, Tina? What? Did you know? Oh, so that's why she probably called the police, Tina. This is all making sense now. That's why Winter called the police, because she's the only one that knew Spanish. Where'd you get that receipt from? Please stick with the facts. I am sticking with the facts. I am making an analysis. See, this is the thing that you guys in the chat are saying, stick with the facts. First of all, people have a right to look at the facts and make analysis from the facts. It's called an opinion. It's called a theory. And a lot of people have misconceptions of opinions. I'm looking at the facts. I'm looking at the information, and I'm taking that information and I'm making my own opinion. There is nothing against the law to have an opinion. That's why we do these videos, to look at information, try to put the pieces together, and think of an opinion. It's an open discussion. If you don't like to hear opinions about things that we're looking at, get off my page, please. I'm gonna start blocking people that's saying you're reaching, all that stuff, because I'm looking at the facts. I'm showing you things that I'm seeing on these videos, and I'm taking that and I'm trying to make an opinion. Now, I don't want to sit here on this live and go through what the definition of an opinion is, because I'm noticing a lot of people are not understanding what an opinion versus a fact is, and they're taking an opinion and they're making it out to be a fact. And that's why a lot of people are having misconceptions of what I'm saying, because I keep telling you repeatedly that it's a theory. It's an opinion. I'm looking at the information that we're looking at. I'm showing you the information that I'm looking at. And then I'm telling you what I think. Something that someone is thinking does not mean that it is a fact. It is something that I'm looking at and I'm making my own analysis of. Just like I'm asking you to look at the same thing and then you think of your own opinion. That's what we're trying to do, so we can figure out what's going on with this case, because this is a case that means a lot to all of us, and we're trying to come to the truth of it because it really affected all of us. If you don't like opinions, and if you don't like us looking at information that we're finding and formulating our analysis of it, please do not come on my page, because I'm an attorney and I analyze everything. That's what attorneys do. We look at information. This is what I would do in any case, is I would look at the information and I would formulate my legal argument. If you go to watch any jury trial and you hear an opening or closing argument, you will hear an attorney tell you the facts and they will make their legal argument. That is what we're doing. My page is all about looking at current events and making opinions. So this, your reach and stuff, I'm going to go through these lives, God, I'm sorry. And I'm going to block all of the ones that are being disrespectful, y'all. It's an opinion. You may not like my opinion, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you need to be offensive, you need to be disrespectful. I'm sorry to talk to the other people, because there's most of you guys in here are sweet or really looking at the case, because I'm a critical thinker. You guys are critical thinkers. I like to analyze things. You guys like to analyze things. But there's some people in this group that just they're misconceiving an opinion, and they're taking that and they're thinking, oh, she's saying facts, when that's not what I'm doing. I'm showing you what I'm looking at and what I'm thinking by the information I'm looking at. That's not reaching. Reaching is if I just go on a live and I have nothing to show you guys, and I just start talking randomly, giving all this random opinions that have no connection to information that we're looking at. That is reaching, because I have nothing to show you to explain to you why I'm having my opinion. So I'm sorry, guys, to go off on a tangent, but since I've been doing this story, I've come across so many really mean, awful people in the chats, awful people in my comments, because they're failing to understand the difference between a legal opinion or just a reasonable human opinion. All of you guys, reasonable human opinions, you guys can look at this information and make up your own, because that's what you do when you analyze stuff, is you try to think, what really happened to this young lady? What was going on with these people? Why did they not intervene? Why did they lie to those police officers? Because this story really hurt a lot of us. And the only way we can get past it and advocate for this girl is everybody wants to know what happened. So I'm sorry, y'all. That really frustrated me, because there's just been some awful people, y'all, I've been dealing with. It's been so, woo. And it's not just me. I've been seeing other bloggers out there. I don't know if you guys seen another blogger lady that she also had been going through the same thing with people just attacking her because of her own opinions. And you know what I mean, guys? But that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys is I'm going to show you what I'm looking at and why I think a certain way. But you have to understand the difference between thinking, opinion, and analysis and fact. If I say this is a fact, that means it's not my opinion. That means it's nothing to do with my personal beliefs. It means it's something that is objective you can point to. Not anywhere in this live that I say what I'm saying is fact. I never said that. I said, I think. I said, this is my theory. And I said, what did you guys think? What do you think about this information? What's your thought process? What's your theory? Because we're having, an open dialogue. So y'all need to be more nice and delicate with this case, y'all, because y'all doing too much. Sorry, y'all. I just have some people in the chat being a little nasty in here. Anywho, I think all of them scared of Dejanay. I do too, Demario. He said, I'm just feeling like she's the bully of the crew. That's why every willing to get caught up and go to jail sticking up for this dumb story she made up. Exactly. I think, like you said, I think Dejanay is the leader of that clique. That's what I talked about in another video. That's my opinion. And I think a lot of people just blindly followed her because they are afraid of her. They do. She is the head of that pack. Even Malik, who is supposed to be a leader, he sat there and followed her. And Khalil did. Khalil, if you look towards the left, you see how he looked like he just was so passive and so afraid. He just sat there, didn't do anything. And even up to the point where he was sitting there eating with Shanquella's mother each day and brought Dejanay to Shanquella's mother's house to continue this lie. He didn't even care enough about Shanquella. He was so afraid of Dejanay because she's the leader of that clique. So I agree with you on that. Kevin Samuel says she was jealous of her cute face. Yeah, she was, Kevin Samuel, she was. Just look at the location of the blows. If you guys have watched any murder cases, you will notice, like, for example, there was a case where a woman, she shot at the private area of the man because she was mad because he cheated on her. There's always something going on with the intent. In this case, guys, if you watch the fight video, Dejanay puts all of her force on Shanquella's face. And I didn't see that before. I didn't really pay attention to that before. I saw it, but I didn't pay attention to it. And I already thought that it was some underlying hatred and jealousy that Dejanay had. But then when I look back at the video and I've looked at the location of where she was punching, and she was punching more so to the face and the head of Shanquella, and most of the bruising is on her face. That's what the father described yesterday. That also shows the jealousy and the hatred she had of the beauty of Shanquella. Also, there was a lot of different reasons of hatred. And as I told you, when someone has an underlying hatred towards someone, any little thing that person does, they're going to despise. They're going to be irritated with. They're going to hate that person. And that's why you could see that even the happiness, the jokes that Shanquella made, any little thing that she did was getting under Dejanay's skin, which is why she exploded on that day and said, I'm tired of your SHIT. You know what I mean? Because she exploded on poor Shanquella. So Tina is saying that Alysse and Malik tried to stop allegedly. I have no information that Malik tried to stop. And we heard him on the recording it and telling Shanquella, can't you fight back? So, I mean, do you have a receipt on that or anything? Yeah, Winter was recording also. There was 2 people recording. Malik was recording one. You can hear his voice in there asking Shanquella, can she fight back? And then Winter was recording also. You've seen her phone there recording too. But there's no evidence that Malik stopped it unless you guys can show receipts, because there's a lot of fake stuff going around, so I'm not going to just blindly believe that. Tina says, pay attention to the detail because Alysse recording was BS. Look at the nails in the video, allegedly. Yeah, I didn't see anything about Alysse recording. I do believe Winter was recording, definitely, and Malik was recording, in my opinion. She did not talk to the doctor, allegedly. Alysse didn't talk to the doctor. How do you guys know this? You're speaking false news allegedly? What am I speaking false? Please explain, Tina. Where am I speaking false news? This is the thing. Y'all be over here spreading false information, and you cannot explain where I'm speaking false. I'm showing you guys the videos. I'm showing you what I'm looking at, and I'm making an opinion. How am I spreading false information? You're looking at the pic. You're looking at what I'm showing you. Y'all, I don't get it. How am I, help me out, y'all. How am I spreading false? Didn't you guys see all the stuff I showed you and what my opinion was? I don't know. I'm gonna start blocking people because they're clearly on here just trying to be negative. Sierra said they're negative. That's all, Queen. Yeah, girl, they are. They just got something going on in their mind, y'all. Madrina said, you're good. Don't make one individual distract you from the good you're trying to do. Oh, you're right, Madrina. You are right, girl. I'm sorry. You know, sometimes it just gets to you because you're like, man, I'm over here caring about this story, and you got some really sick, mean people out here that are taking what I'm saying and they're misinterpreting it as a fact and instead not as an analysis. That's what people do. You look at allegations and you make your own opinions of it because you're trying to come to the truth. It doesn't mean that you're saying that your opinion is fact. And I'm like, how is that reaching when I'm showing you what I'm looking at and I'm telling you what I think about the information? It's like, come on, y'all, these people are weird out here. I need to get some what is it called? I need some people in here who can like kick people out who are annoying. I find it so interesting that all the people around Shaquilla were so heartless. I don't get it. Exactly, Diamond Girl. I told you they felt like she was an outsider. All you have to do is look at the various relationships in this, and you could tell Shaquilla was not that close to them except for allegedly Khalil, but Khalil owed his loyalty to the Cabo 6 people. Right, T Johnson. Thank you, love. She said, y'all don't understand the meaning of allegedly. Exactly. Before you guys come on my page, you need to look at the definition: opinion, theory, allegedly, and fact. You have to know the definition of those things because you will know exactly where I am communicating when I'm talking about an opinion or when I'm talking about what I think about or I'm saying allegedly or if I tell you if it's a fact. And at no point we don't have anything really in here that's really factual yet until we really hear from the prosecutor, until we watch the trial. So at this point, all these things are allegations, theories, and opinions, which means you don't have to agree with me. You can tell me what your opinion is and say, oh, you know, I don't agree with you. I think that based on these allegations put together, I think this, here's my theory, because we're all trying to just talk and discuss, and it helps us try to figure out what happened in this case, because we're all trying to figure this situation out. She went hardcore blows. Exactly, Madrina. I've never seen anything like that from a woman. That's why people were mistaking her for a man because of the strength of those blows, y'all. The force of those blows. There was something deep hatred behind those blows. And Kevin Scammell says she kicked her while she was down. Also, right, did you see that? And she kicked her in the head. Notice all the aggression was on the face. Isn't that crazy? All the force was on that face. There's a meaning behind. You have to look at every little piece of observation in this and allegation and try to put it together of what you think was going on, because the news is not going to tell us anything. You know how they just give us basic information. So we have to go and look at social media, look at photos, look at videos, and figure out, like, why is she punching this girl in the face so much? What does she have against Nicola's face? I mean, you could have hit any other area. And have you guys ever seen a woman grab someone by the neck like she did? This is something that a lot of people aren't talking about too. It's going to be a long live, so y'all going to have to just skip over it. But this is what I have to say. People aren't mentioning the fact that Dejanay grabbed Shanquella by the neck and slammed her down. That could have been contributing to her injuries. The neck is a very delicate area. And go back and watch the video and watch the force that Dejanay puts on the neck, swings her around, slams her on the ground. That alone could have caused an injury to the neck and to the back. That alone. Without us looking at second videos, there's obviously, allegedly, now the Mexican authorities are confirming there's a second video. That, I would more likely rely upon what the Mexican officials are saying at this point than just some random person online blindly saying there's a second video. So at first I was kind of just not really putting much weight on the second video because at first it was just a rumor floating around. Nobody had a receipt. Nobody had anything really solid for us. But Wanda's come with a receipt saying that Mexican officials are confirming there's a second video. That piece of allegation I'm more likely to go with. So with that being said, though, to me, if there's even another person that took part in this fight, both of these people are contributorily responsible for Shanquella's injuries because Dejanay also grabbed Shanquella by the neck and slammed her on the ground. She had to sustain some grave injuries from that. We didn't see Shanquella's condition after that slamming. We just saw her neck hanging low and her sitting on the ground. We don't know if she ever got up after that because we didn't get the rest of the video. So I still feel that we need to stop excusing that video. A lot of people are so focused on the second video. Everybody's putting weight on the second video saying, oh, it's winter, it's winter, winter. But you cannot forget the forceful blows that Dejanay made because Dejanay contributed to the murder of Shanquella, just like allegedly there's this video out here showing Winter. If that is in fact true, we don't know though. We don't know. But I just think people need to also put an analysis on Dejanay and not just excuse that video because a lot of people keep talking about the second video, but no one's looking at that first video at the very end when Dejanay forcefully grabs her neck and slams her on the ground. That alone, before I knew about the second video, that alone was telling me that that could have caused grave injury to Shanquella. Because you guys already know the neck is a very delicate area, right? So they unalive her and it's her fault. I never said that, Wanda. Y'all need to pay attention. I knew there was going to be some people who don't listen in the video, and I knew they were going to take my words and try to make it their own interpretation. You guys need to learn to listen and not jump to conclusions. Never in any way did I say it was Shanquella's fault. I even went back and emphasized that. I was telling you guys what I thought the Cabo 6, or in particular, what I thought the women were saying. I didn't say it was my thought process. I do not think it's Shanquella's fault. Pay attention, y'all. Come on, because some people don't listen and they have selective hearing and they want to find something to try to pick a fight with. It seems like a lot of people just want to, they're sitting there and they're waiting on the live just to hear one little thing that they can hang their hat on and say, oh, see there, you're saying it's her fault. Da-da-da-da. You didn't hear anything I said. Well, I've been on this live for over an hour or 2 hours, and the one thing you hear is that I'm blaming Shanquella. No, I am not blaming Shanquella. I am 100% on Shanquella's side. I don't think she did anything wrong. It's just sad that she happened to be in a wrong place with people who didn't care about her. What I'm saying is the people involved had that thought process. The people involved were blaming her. The people involved had angry thoughts towards her. I'm not saying that is my thought process, Wanda. Please pay attention, y'all. Please pay attention. Come on, y'all. I'm going to start blocking people who don't listen. I'm sorry. I'm about to start blocking people because I need people who can listen, y'all. Come on now. Come on now. Sorry, I'm not talking to the choir. Y'all all understand me, but people who are just trying to pick arguments, I got to take them off the live because this is already sad enough that this happened to Shanquella and you guys are making it worse. Some of y'all. Not you guys, I'm sorry. Just 1 or 2 people in the chat. Sorry, guys. She allegedly is saying you're not using the word allegedly. She allegedly is saying you're not using the word allegedly. We get it. Thank you. Let her focus. Yeah, I am using allegedly. I'm saying allegedly, I'm saying my theory. Theory is not a fact, it's an opinion. There was more than one phone. Yeah, Kevin Scamills, there was multiple people recording. So you're right about that. T says one of them was over by the balcony in the corner laying down recording. If anyone peeped that. Really? I'm gonna take a look at that, T Johnson. I didn't see that. I did not see that, T Johnson. Thank you. That's why, sadly, guys, I don't like looking at the video of Shanquella being beat. It's so painful for me. But if we're going to come to the truth of this and we're going to be able to, effectively advocate for this young lady, we got to know what's going on. There's so many different pieces to this story. And I didn't even know there was someone on the ground recording too. Did y'all see that in the video? Let me know. God love you says, please keep going. We understand that you are talking about please block person. Okay, you're right. Thank you, God love you. I am so sorry, guys, that today I had to really kind of go on a rant. I'm so sorry, guys. It's just, you guys don't see the comments I get. I get like tons of people that are really toxic in the comments that are really awful. You know, they sit there on the videos and and the thing is, I'm not getting paid for this. I don't get a dime for this stuff. I do this because it's something that means a lot to me. And I love talking to you guys. I love hearing your perspective. I don't get paid for this. So if you guys are going to be toxic, some of y'all, not you guys, I'm talking to people who are being toxic, please pay me some money. Okay. Pay me some money. If you're not paying me, if you're not sending me money, then you don't have a right to criticize anything I'm doing. I'm not a blogger. I'm not a reporter. I'm just a person online talking about stories just like everybody else. Just because I'm on YouTube doesn't mean I'm some news reporter. I'm a person who cares about these cases, who wants to talk about them, and who wants to hear from other people and try to figure out what's going on and advocate for these young ladies and people that are going through tragedies. It's very sad. So I'm sorry, guys, that those that understand that, like, which is like 90% of you guys, I'm sorry. It's just sometimes it becomes too much, and I can hear a lot. I'm going around, I'm hearing a lot of bloggers saying that they're getting the same type of treatment I'm getting, and sometimes it just gets frustrating because I'm not getting any payments for this stuff. So it's like, this is not a job, and usually you're entitled to tell someone how to do something if you're paying them, but if you're not, either respectfully watch it, give your opinion, do your analysis. We can all talk with dignity and grace, or just not watch my live. And if you don't agree with me, you don't like the way I'm doing things, just don't be on here. You don't have to be on here. You don't have to be mean though. Just be nice. Show love. Especially because of this case. Amazing Tribe. Hi, Amazing Tribe. There's my dude. I love Amazing Tribe. He says, Deja Jackson had definitely had a unruly, envious demon time rage and jealousy of Shanquella. Exactly. Very demonic stuff. She had a hatred. That's why she was focused on that girl's face and her head so much. And it was like you said, it was demonic. It was evil. Remember, she was the only one who could do the push-ups, right? Did you see that? Yeah, the head and face were the targets. Exactly. Go back and watch the video, y'all. Studies, take some notes on that, and then we'll come back and we'll analyze it together with everything else. Yeah, she was doing push-ups, right? She was. Sierra says you're right. What do you think, Sierra, about this? About the stuff you saw? But we do know Shanquella responded after she was tossed to the floor. She did respond. She did. But we don't know what happened after the video, though. And she never got up on the video, so we don't know what her injuries were at the time. And she did grab her by the neck, y'all. That's a very vulnerable area, and slammed her on the ground. I still think that's something we need to add to the analysis. I do. She never said that she understood. Yeah, Mandrina. I love Mandrina. Mandrina said, listen, please. Exactly. I'm going to have to do a live, guys, going over the definition of think, theory, opinion, and fact. And I'm going to pin it to my page. And anyone who doesn't listen, I'm going to refer that video to them. I'm going to add a link to it and say, please review this video and review the definition of these particular words before you watch any of my videos. Because you have to understand the definition of those words before you come on the live. Otherwise, you're going to misinterpret things as facts and take things in an offensive way when we're just giving opinions. I mean, how many times you guys have coffee and you hang out with your friends and you sit and talking about things you see on the news and you guys give your opinions? You might say, ooh, I don't think that's true, or ooh, I think that person was this. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just on YouTube doing it. Talking to my YouTube friends. You guys are my friends. We having a nice little sit down. We're eating our coffee. We're drinking our coffee. We're maybe having our little treats. And we're talking about things that really mean a lot to us. And we're trying to come to the truth to figure out what is going on. This case in particular hurt me more than a lot of other cases I've went over. And that's why I'm so gung-ho and trying to figure out what happened. You know? So I love Mandrina. She said, listen, y'all, listen. Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. Queen Squire, you couldn't trust them to bring you a change back from $5 bill. Exactly, Amazing Tribe. Well, I caught you live. Hey there. Hi, Unicorn. Hi, love. Madrina, you're awesome. What you do. Thank you, love, Madrina. I really appreciate you so much. I know Southeastern. It's a very horrible case. I've done a lot of tragic stories, but this one hurts me the most because all of us, I know each of you can say, you know some jealous people out there. You may have had jealous friends. You may have overlooked it and think, man, that could have been me. I could have been Shinquella. So that's why it means so much to us, so much to us to see this girl get justice. I am determined to advocate for this girl, and I will never stop until she gets justice because she can't speak for herself anymore. And it's sad, you know? Let's see. You never ever blame Shinquella. I didn't. Yeah, right. Yes, you didn't hear me blame her. I'm just saying, you're right, because some people, they just sit there and they wait on the live. This is what they do. They will wait on the live for several hours until they hear one little thing that they can hang their hat on to get mad about. It's because they're very negative-minded people and they like drama. There's people out there that are unhappy with their life and they just love drama. They love stirring up negativity. And so they'll sit on people's lives and they go on different people's pages and they'll wait around and they'll be like, okay, there she said it. See, you're crazy. You're over here saying fake, false news. So yes, is right. I never blamed Shinquella. I'm team Shinquella. I'm on Shinquella's side. Some of these folks are so mean. I appreciate your opinions and the information you show. Thank you, yes, love you so much. Appreciate you guys. I love all of my subscribers very dearly. I do this for you guys because I want us to sit and talk about it. Yes, look at the video again. You can see them top their head up to record. Ooh, I need to go back and watch that. I'll watch it. It's so hard to watch it though. I don't like seeing Shinquella get hit like that. That video is vicious and absolutely disgusting. Those blows to the face are really frightening. It is, isn't it, Southeast Londoner? It's terrifying. I've never seen a woman fight like that, which is why I can understand why people were alleging and lying, that saying that Dejanay is a man when she's not. In fact, guys, if you are familiar with what's going on in Mexico, Mexico's following everything that the American news is reporting on and the bloggers are reporting on. And they also are now using false information saying that Dejanay is a man. So that's worrisome because they might end up, when they arrest her, they might end up putting her in the man's group because they are relying upon fake information out there. You'll see on some Mexican news outlets, they're claiming that Dejanay is a transgender because they're watching American blogs and different things like that, and they're running with it. So you guys, she's going to have to prove that she's a woman when she gets down there when she gets to Mexico, because the Mexican authorities are over here running with this fake information too. Because of how forceful those blows were, y'all. I'm going to need some moderators too, so I'm going to have to talk to some of my loyal subscribers, because I'm going to need some people in the chat that can just block people with negative energy, because I am very patient, but at this point, when it happens so much, it could be distracting to what we're really here for. So if you want to be a moderator, reach out to me, guys. Dejanay said, she was doing push-ups. She was trying, y'all, but she didn't look like she was doing them well. She was trying. You never blame. Okay, see. The video is vicious and absolutely disgusting. It is Southeast Londoner. It was like one of the most horrific videos I've seen. Found this channel about a week ago. Great reporting. Oh, I love you, Southeast Londoner. Thank you so much, love, for your support. And I appreciate your input. These people are so biased and caught in their own emotions, so they don't want to hear and can't hear anything outside of their perceptions. Exactly, Unicorn Royalty. Exactly. See, majority of you guys in here are listening, and I'm so sorry I had to waste your time hearing my little thing, but I had to explain to some people because there's been a lot of people out there. Kansas Thomas says, this was pure hate, vicious. These were not friends. They were jealous and bad-minded. Has a mother and a wife. Felt like putting a hole in the parent. And then Sierra says, I am truly, truly hurt by this story. Me too, Sierra. Sierra, this is one of the stories that hurt me the most in a long time. She said, I can't wait for justice for Shinquella. I've been following this story since it hit the media the way it did. I know, Sierra, me too. I've been studying this case. That's why I've been in and out of these different things online, because that's really where you can get most of your information. I've been on different people's pages as I took you through the process that I went through. I know it was long and tedious, but the reason why I did it is because we're trying to figure out what's going on. And like Sierra said, this one really hurt. Oh, hi, Paula. Nice to meet you, sweetie. I'm the director, moderator. Tag me. Okay, I got to get you. I got to get Amazing Tribe. Now, y'all got to show me how to add moderators, because I'm not used to this YouTube stuff, y'all. Y'all know I'm not, because y'all see me with my little videos. Yes, justice for Shanquella. That is our tag, is justice for Shanquella. Keep talking about this case. The video was so heartbreaking. I've been following this story from day one. You cannot trust people. I'm very wary of people, no matter who they are. Exactly, Paula. You are so right, guys. This story scared us all into realizing we can't trust people. I really am praying for Shanquella. I want justice for this young lady, and we all need to speak for her, because she can't speak for herself, just like she couldn't really speak for herself the day she was brutally beaten. So she needs us to speak for her and protect her now, in the afterlife. Should Alysse be exonerated since she was grieving? No, Bubbles, I don't think so. I think they need to investigate her just as much as everybody else, because I'm still side-eyeing her regarding the information she communicated to the police and the doctor. And if she conspired to lie and say it was alcohol poisoning, and she was a part of that lie, then I have an issue with her. But the thing is, we don't know. We don't know. So a lot of us are attacking some of these people, and we don't know what really happened. So I'm side-eyeing her right now, because it appears as though everybody was in agreement about that story to the doctor, because that's what's alleged on the police report. That's what alleged from the parents. The parents say that all the girls were saying different stories, but not once did any of them tell Salamandra or Gerald that her daughter was beaten. None of them did. And that's what Salamandra said. So I'm still thinking that Alysse is responsible as well, and she should also be investigated. I don't think she should be let off the hook. What do you think, Bubbles? Do you think she should? There are females who are raised to fight like this. I've seen girls and teens fight like this. Most females like Dejanay. Really? Go for face first. They want to scar you for life. Really? I've never seen that. Dang. Wow. So Sierra's saying she's seen people fight like Dejanay. I've never seen that. But I guess there's other sides out there, Not every woman fights the same. It's just I've never seen that before. So it took me aback. It was very forceful. I've never seen a woman fight like that. But hey, to each is his own, I guess, man. But still, like I told you, my daughter was almost caught up in a situation like Shanquella. What, Madrina? So I want justice to come. Oh my goodness, Madrina. Kevin Scamio says, and I'm so sorry that happened to you, Madrina, because I know that was very hard for you, and I can see why this case means a lot to you, Madrina. I could see your dedication and why it's keeping you up, just like it's keeping all of us up, because it hits home for you. So I definitely can see your empathy, and that it's a beautiful thing that you can have that empathy. But you see how you're able to have empathy because your daughter experienced it? That's exactly my point as it relates to Alysse. I was thinking she lost her sister to violence. How come she didn't have empathy for Shanquella? But somebody, I think Wanda in the chat said that, was it Wanda, guys? Or somebody in the chat said that the Mexican authorities said there was a second video showing Alysse trying to stop the fight. Who knows? That's another theory. Oh my God, that's so crazy. You say that. I had jealous ex-best friend. She looked like Winter, and I lied to you. Not everyone around me kept telling me about the hateration towards me, but I wasn't seeing it. Exactly, Sierra. See, girl, now you can see it. I want all of you guys to go back and start thinking about those friendships. You'll start noticing things, and you'll be like, man, it could have been me. That's why this story means so much to all of you. Because if you go back and you sit down and you reflect on some of those relationships, you will find that you've had some friends similar to the Dejanays and the Winters of this world, and some of the Cabo Six of this world. And that's why this story means so much to you. That's why Shanquella's tragedy means so much to you, because it could have been us. We could have been Shanquella. We're all Shanquella. I think that should be our tagline. We are Shanquella. That's why we care. That should be our tag. We are Shanquella, and we are her voice. Okay, look. So I love Amazing because he be helping me with my technology stuff. He be helping me with my laptop. Now he helping me. He said, go into your settings and click on moderator, attaching a blue wrench next to my name. Okay, love. Hold on, let me screenshot that. Let me screenshot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to screenshot that. He said, go into my settings and click. Or Amazon, can you message me on Instagram? Just go to Queen Esquire Gal, I think it is. Just search for Queen Esquire on Instagram and message me on there, and I'll. With friends like that, you don't need enemies. Exactly. Khalil knew they didn't like Shanquella. I think they were able to get in her room through him. Oh my gosh. You're right. You are right. He had a lot to do with it. He definitely had a lot to do with it because he was allegedly her friend. Man, look, everyone needs to go down, point blank, period, no passes. Exactly, Sierra. I'm with Sierra. I'm with Sierra. Definitely. All of them deserve to go down. I know that's what was frustrating me when there was just one arrest, but I get now what De La Rosa is doing. He's going to start with the direct aggressor, and then he's going to work his way that way. He can get access to her phone, look into more stuff. Because I hear he's an aggressive prosecutor. And if what these people are saying is true about him, then he's going to go after whoever he is responsible. So we'll see. Yeah, what's a lady's most precious commodity? Exactly, y'all. What is a lady's most precious commodity? You guys answer it. Yes, I've been scratching the face. Exactly, they go for the face. Like, okay, Zira is saying. Exactly, amazing. Kansas says, definitely, we need justice. This was definitely an eye-opener. The truth will come out. Exactly. The girl who was on FT is out and about in North Carolina. A little nun happened. What? The girl was on. Wow. Why do you think some apply Vaseline before a fight? Exactly, girl. Y'all right. They do. That is a traditional thing people do. Put the Vaseline on. Right? Her Instagram is up. She posted a new pic. Yeah, guys, I hear Khalil Cook's up too. Let's look and see if it is. Let me see. They said Khalil Cook's Facebook is up. Do y'all see his Facebook up? Did he take it down again? I don't see it. Let me know if y'all see it. Because these are not him. He took it down again. Oh, he got caught. I think he took it down again. Because he put it back up today. And then people started going back online, harassing him. And he took it down again. He took it down, y'all. I know. Good morning, K-Mommy. Hey, girl. Girl, you just missed all the drama, girl. There was so much drama before you came, girl. But we don't know Alysse involvement. She might have sent those videos. Right, Bubbles. We really don't. All we're doing is speculating. It's all just speculation and opinions. We don't know Alysse is part of it. We'll have to wait and see. But I still think she was wrong, y'all, because she was a part of the conspiracy. She told the office, she didn't stand up and tell the doctor. No one allegedly told the doctor that Shanquella was beaten. Even if she sat there and didn't say a word to the doctor and she just let Winter give this lie to the doctor, because allegedly someone said Winter was the only one who knew Spanish. So now that makes sense why she called 911, and it could make sense why she probably spoke to the doctor and law enforcement. But the thing is, Alysse never even told Shanquella's parents that Shanquella was beaten to death. So I still feel like she's on the hook. She didn't go. You guys go watch the interviews from Salamandra. Salamandra says that none of the friends ever told her there was a fight. So Alysse is just as much guilty as the rest of them because she was in on the lie. She never came clean about the lie. She's just as wrong. She had a duty to tell that grieving mother who was in pain, the grieving father who was in pain, that Shanquella was beaten because she knew that. And she didn't say anything. So that's the problem I have with Alysse. I DM her and she DM me right back. Oh, she does? What? But we don't know. Yeah, let me see. I've had a bestie the same too and cut her off before a trip to Jamaica. They did this to their cousin's friend. Oh, wow. Good morning, K-Mommy. Well, they didn't jump her or off her, I mean, though. Okay. She's part of the Cabo 6. It's really Cabo 7. Well, no, it's not Cabo 7 because Shanquella is not a part of the Cabo 6. The Cabo 6 is given that name because they're all a part of the conspiracy. The 7th person was our victim, Shanquella. So she's not a part of that Cabo 6. Do you guys know what I mean? She's not a part of the conspiracy to brutally murder herself, you know, so she's Cabo 6. That is why Quella trusted the trip because Khalil, exactly, Trisha, you got it. Because Khalil was there and she believed he would have her back. That's exactly why. That's why she felt confident to go. Trisha is right, in my opinion. I agree with Trisha. Sierra says, yes, and ex-best friend was living with him. I put her and her kids up, and the whole time she had hateration. See, Sierra, you're starting to see the red flags, girl. That's why it's important that we all study this case because we can start looking at the red flags for ourselves. And so if we see those same red flags in our relationships, we immediately should cut those off. Don't try to keep those friendships. Don't be trying to go on trips with them. Don't be hanging out with those people. If you see the same indicators, if you're going to an event or whatever and you're trying to be friendly and these people aren't receptive to you, they have their hands on their hips, they look like they're not really letting you into the circle, that is a red flag to you and you need to get out. As sad as this is, man, I'm sad this had to happen to Shaquilla. It's going to help save a lot of other people's lives to know this story, what happened. Nazir did a second video trying to clarify his name. Exactly. I talked about that, Madrina, in another video. I didn't play the live, but I did refer to that live he did yesterday. He did another video trying to clear his name on his Instagram. That's why, like I told you guys, I'm still standing to my opinion that unless they can show on that man's phone that he knew, even though I don't like the stuff he said, I feel like he said some inconsistent things. And I don't think he's morally and ethically right in this situation. I just say right now, they don't have evidence to prosecute him. They're going to need more evidence to prove his involvement, I'm saying. They just need more, which if he is involved, this prosecutor will get by looking through his phone to see what information he had. The 7th girl was on FaceTime watching the screen and recording. Ooh. There were other people that watched that video, guys, besides the Cabo 6. There were people back in North Carolina. Exactly, Jameer. When you're beautiful inside and it radiates, it's a very dangerous thing. Exactly. Yes, agreed. We all can reflect in our circles. Right, guys? This is a self-reflection time. This tragedy is. That's why we're studying the case, because we're trying to look at, okay, what are the indicators that we need to look out for? Because each of us know we have them some type of hater friend out there. Not all your friends, but you can at least think back to that 1 or 2 friends or whatever amount of friends that was secretly a hater in your life. And this could have been one of us. We could have been Shanquella. Shanquella didn't deserve this, man. She didn't deserve this at all. I'm so mad this happened to that beautiful young lady. In the videos, there was nothing to me that would strike them being friends. Exactly. You can see it. It's very, very obvious. All you have to do is look at the body language. If you look at body language, you can read people very clearly. And like Paula is saying, or the Southeast Londoner is saying, is just by looking at those lives and looking at the people's behavior in there, you can tell none of them wanted anything to do with Shanquella. Even Khalil, who is her friend, who owed more of a loyalty to the Cabo 6 because he knew them longer and had a longer history with them. Even he passively just stood there idle and didn't do anything. I wonder if she really wanted to go on this trip. Right, I don't think she did. I think Khalil convinced her. I really do, Southeast London. I don't think she wanted to go. He convinced her. And as positive as this girl is, her mother says it, her father says it, she tried to make the best of it. She thought, well, as long as I'm here, I'm gonna try to make the best of this. I'm gonna try to be polite. I'm gonna try to, build people's spirit up. I can tell there's something off with these people, but I'm gonna be here to try to raise up the energy. And they weren't feeling it. They just weren't. Sierra says, yeah, Bubbles, right. Sierra says, pay attention to pay attention to be the moments people can't control. Exactly. Have you all seen the photo with Shanquella's mother, her aunt, and Khalil? Right. He had his hands in his pocket, right? And he looked strange. Yeah, I did a live on that. If you go back and watch that live, guys, I did so many videos on this, but I did do a live where you could see him standing next to Shanquella and her mother, and he has this really sinister stare. It's like a weird stare. People can't hold things back, like Sierra's saying. It's in the body language. All you have to do is get good at studying body language, and you'll be able to read energy. And like Sierra says, if you go back to my live that I did that on, maybe I'll post it in here if I can find it, and just look at that photo. Look at his eyes. He has a mask on, so you can't see the bottom of, the bottom of his face. All you can see is his eyes, and then you can see how sinister and evil his eyes were when he was looking over at the mom. He's already telling you that he's just a dishonest person, and he had ill will, and he wasn't really a genuine friend. And I think he was jealous of Shanquella because they both had businesses, and his business was failing. Like I told you, he took out a PPP loan. Go back to that video, guys. I've done so many videos on this. You guys have to watch all the videos to put all the different analysis together. I'm sorry I did it that way, but I just come on live as more information comes out and we add it to the existing analysis. And so each of these lives develop into more analysis once we get more pieces of the puzzle. But if you go back to some of the lives, there's a live that I talk about the PPP loan and how Khalil was trying to be an entrepreneur like Shanquella. That is the connection to where the jealousy lies. If you study psychology, they talk about jealousy. I remember studying psychology in college, and they talk about jealousy, and they say a lot of times jealousy can be formed by people with certain similarities. Like, say, for example, if you're both in theater and someone is a better actress than you are, well, then you're going to be jealous of them because they intimidate you. Similarly here, both parties, Khalil and Shanquella, were business people, but Shanquella was very good at what she did. She was good at managing her money. She was good at marketing, advertising, and having a successful, thriving business with a lot of clientele. She even hired her own models, y'all. She was on point. She was 25 years old and had 2 thriving businesses. Look at these other people. A lot of these other people didn't have much going on. Khalil had a failing business with a PPP loan that really did nothing to help his business. Diogene, she was a customer service rep she claims to be in the healthcare field, but she's just a customer service rep. What did you guys think? They're all the same age. I thought they were different ages, guys, so I was mistaken on a prior video. Please forgive me. That was a mistake I made. But now I found that they're all the same age. They all went to the same college, allegedly. So they have a similarity there, right? But who is doing better than a lot of them? Shanquella. That's where the jealousy lied. Similar backgrounds, but someone's doing better than them. But then you add that with Shanquella's happiness, her spontaneous personality, the jokes she was making, the context of those people already not liking her. They were going to hate any little thing that Shanquella did. Shanquella didn't stand a chance. That's how sad this story is. She did not stand a chance. That's why we have to be able to read energy. You have to go back and study these videos. And guys, I don't get paid for this. I don't get any monetization. I didn't monetize this page because I'm not on here for money. I'm just telling you to go back to the videos because you need to look at the different pieces and start studying the body language, because that's going to help you protect yourself from fake friends later down the line. Because this Shanquella could have been any of us. Any of us could have been victimized like this. This is a scary story because we all can identify with Shanquella. When we saw that fight, We put ourselves in Shanquella's shoes. That's why everybody's hurt. That's why people care. People don't realize that sometimes you'll see a story and it captivates you and you just don't understand why. Well, that's this type of story. You may not have put the pieces together, but go back and think about those relationships. Think about the body language. Think about the facial expressions you've seen in certain people that were supposed to be your friends. Let me tell you a quick story before I leave y'all. Because of Shanquella's story, it helped me read energy just yesterday. I went to a makeup store, right? And this lady here who helped me get makeup, and she asked me about how my competition did because she helped me with my makeup and all that stuff. And I was like, I won. And I was showing her all my pictures of winning. And so she calls over the other customer reps and she's like, hey, she won. She's, this new queen or whatever. And I saw one of the reps and she had this stank stare, like a stare of envy. Okay, her energy was closed off. She was giving me this real stank stare, and I could read off her body language that she was jealous. And so my spirit immediately made sure I stepped away from her. I didn't want to be around her. I didn't want to be around her spirit because that's what you need to be able to read it. You need to be able to see people's energy and immediately step away from that person. That's how good you have to get at reading energy because that's the way it's going to save your life down the line. That's an example of how Shanquella's story helped me, even in my own personal interactions with people. I saw that girl's energy. It was so obvious because we studied this Shanquella story and we were looking at the body language of these different women in the videos with Shanquella, and we could see the red flags in those videos, how closed off they were. The energy was very cold and callous. And because we've been looking at that, I was able to take this tragedy and see it for myself when I saw somebody else exuding the same energy that I saw those 3 women in the Cabo 5. I would say, and I know it's Cabo 6, guys, but Nazir allegedly says he wasn't there. So we're just going to go with the 5 people in the room. The energy that they were giving off on the 28th, October 28th. So that's what we need to take from this, because Shanquella will not die in vain. Her story is going to save millions of people's lives. She truly will go down in history with a legacy because she's going to save people. Knowing her story, she didn't realize, that's the thing, Shanquella did not realize that by recording those people in those different interactions, that those recordings were going to be able to be used to save thousands of people's lives down the line, because people are going to be able to see the indicators now. They're going to be able to look at those lives that she recorded, the times when she was alone in a 5-bedroom villa looking for the people that were supposed to be her friends, and they all abandoned her and isolated in one room when they have 5 different rooms, and you don't tell me that's a red flag? And they left her out of the conversation? Come on, that's obvious. And just seeing the different parts of the video where she's sitting and trying to eat and interact. And people are saying, oh yeah, she had a long trip and that's why she took a nap. Yeah, maybe. But knowing the way Shanquella is, just looking at her different personalities, if those young ladies interacted with her that day, I guarantee you, she would have been able to sacrifice any tiredness to hang out with those girls. The reason why she took that nap at 8:45, because she was emotionally exhausted from being rejected. You could see it in the videos. She was rejected when she tried to ask them to go swimming with her, to get naked with her. She was rejected when she ended up going skinny dipping all by herself. Those girls they were in one room, left her out. That's why she took the nap. She was like, there's no point in me staying up when these people don't want to be around me. I'm just going to go to sleep. She was emotionally drained and exhausted from the rejection. But I guarantee you, if they were interacting with her and if they were hanging out with her, Shanquella would have just sacrificed her tired energy and would have just hung out with them. Because that's how she is. If you go back and you could see different videos, if you go to YouTube and search her name, you will see a video of her on another trip where she's dancing and they're doing like little Soul Train stuff. She's the type of person, if her friends want to hang out, she'll sacrifice her wants to make them happy. That's the type of person she is. Just like she did on this trip. She was trying to be happy and bubbly while everybody was down because she was trying to help them to build them up. She knew something was like, what was going on? Everybody was kind of down, but she's thinking, oh, maybe they're sad about something. Let me try to, let me try to raise the energy in the villa. That's why she was loud and trying to pump them up. And then she, when she was at the dinner table, she was trying to, drink, because she saw that something was off, but she didn't really put all the pieces together that they were actually not liking her. She was so focused on trying to build everybody else up because that's what her parents say. They say that she's always trying to be a good friend to someone. She's always positive. She'll make you laugh. That's what the father says. If you watch the video I played of the father's interview last night, he talks about Shanquella will make you laugh. So that's where I got the vibe that if she sees you're down, she's going to try to build you up. And that's what she was trying to do at the villa. But they weren't giving her the same acceptance. So of course she took the nap. She might as well. Nobody wants to interact with her. She just went skinny dipping. Nobody wanted to hang out with her. Nobody went to the pool. Clearly she was trying to get them to go because she went there and said, none of you guys, it don't take you that long to get naked. And they all were making excuses. 2 of the girls didn't respond to her at all. They just looked at her. Didn't even respond. And the one person that responded had her hands on her hip. That was Dejanay. And she had a little negative attitude. And her tone was off aggressive. It was like, my swimsuit. She had some little excuse that didn't even make sense. My bougie swimsuit is over here. And my plain basic swimsuit's over here. But still, it was like, that's not an excuse to not want to go swimming. You know what I mean? She had multiple swimsuits, so why couldn't she go swimming? She was trying to make up an excuse because she didn't want to be around Shanquella. So y'all know I talk too much, so don't come in my comments talking about, you talk too much and you're redundant. I talk too much. I'm an attorney. I like talking. Just skip over stuff if you don't want to hear it. Right, Bubbles says, who comes all the way to Mexico to sulk and be jealous? Negative people, Bubbles. There's some negative people out there like that, y'all. I know, Amber, doesn't it hurt you? It hurts all of us because it could have been us. That's why it affects us so bad. All you got to do is go back and look at, amen, James, I agree with that. Repent and believe the gospel. I believe the gospel. I am saved, Bible believing, and God is number one in my life. If you're on my page and you follow me, y'all know that because I talk about God in mostly every story. Sierra says they have her silent treatment. Khalil didn't say anything when she found him. I know, wasn't it awkward? Go back and really look at those videos and just take notes. You got to study each of them because if you go fast through it, you're going to miss a bunch of key indicators. You got to go slowly, repeat, rewind. That's why I played a lot of my videos, the videos over and over again, because you'll miss certain things if you watch it just one time. So go back to those different lives and just look at the behavior in contrast to Shanquella and ask yourself also, how are we all on a trip, right? How are they all on a one trip? Yet Shanquella is going skinny dipping by herself. She put that there for a reason. See, she's always positive, right? But she was actually hurt. That's why she said skinny dipping by myself was a blast. No, she was being sarcastic. She wanted everyone to know. Clearly, these people didn't want to be around her. Compare that to another trip when she went with a group of girls. They're all wearing red. I'm pretty sure you guys seen that video where she's on the Soul Train for the boat. Everybody was hanging out with her. Everybody was Soul Training and dance with her. There was a girl looking at her in response and reacting to her dancing. They were all together in unison, enjoying the vibe. That's when Shaquella's used to. She's used to everybody hanging out. But on this trip to the Cabo trip, it was completely different than all of her other experiences. We've gone on her Instagram on one of my videos. Go back to those Instagrams. If you go to Shanquella's Instagram, you'll see, go to her highlights. And you'll see the different trips she's had. People in those trips are more animated. They're in the same energy as her, the same vibe as her. This Cabo trip is completely opposite of the other trips Shanquella has ever been on. Based upon the different things I've seen on her Instagram. Just go on her Instagram, you'll see it. Go on her Instagram. And I'd already went over it in another video, so if you want to watch that one. But if you go on her Instagram and click on those highlights and look at how the other people or if you don't see them in the video, you'll at least hear their voices. They're responsive to Shanquella, whereas this trip is very different. than what Shanquella has gone through. That's why she's being sarcastic, I think, in that post when she's saying, skinny dipping by myself was a blast. It really wasn't. She was wondering why were they being so closed off to her? What was going on? But she just didn't know what it was. She couldn't put her finger on it. So all she did was just try to be positive with these people, and they just continually rejected her. I feel really bad for Shanquella, man. I feel sad for her to feel that type of rejection and no protection. Nobody protected this girl. Not even the very person who claimed to love her, Khalil. It's just like, dang, make it make sense. Shanquella would have definitely been the personality I would be drowned to. It's crazy. Our personalities are very much. See, Sierra, that's why you identify with the story, because you identify with Shanquella. What's the name of the game that they're playing? It seemed mean and demonic. It did have some mean monotones to it. The part that was like send hate mail and fake or mean text to people who flaked out. It was just it seemed kind of weird. I don't know, guys. What's the name of that game they were playing? I know one of you guys know. Tell me the name of that game. Put it in the chat. That was clear sarcasm when Shanquella was naked, skinny dipping. Exactly. You guys have to read in between the lines. If you just look at these posts and you just gloss over them, you're not going to see the indicators. Shanquella wasn't really happy swimming by herself. She went into that room to try to get them to go, that's what she said. It don't take you that long to get naked. They didn't really want to get naked. That's why Dejanay was talking about, oh, I've got my swimsuits, but I don't like this one. I don't like this one. And they were just trying to make up excuses. And the other girls just ignored her. And Shanquella was like, okay, fine, I'll just go by myself. But in reality, she was sad about that because she thought she was going to come to this trip and it was going to be fun. And she was going to have, all this fun, like Soul Train and dancing and interactions that she got from her prior trips, from her trips to Vegas and to the trips she had to Jamaica and other places she's gone, where people that she's gone with have interacted with her. They're in unison. They're actually friends. She's used to that. And this is like a completely polar opposite. And she's like, what is this? I could have stayed home. Like, I knew I didn't want to go to this. I guarantee you some in her told her not to go, but Khalil convinced her to go. You guys always get that weird intuition when someone tells you not to go somewhere, but you still go. That's probably what happened to Shanquella. And I guarantee you she probably was reflecting on that. And it was sarcasm in that comment. Going skinny dipping by myself was a blast. She was being sarcastic. She didn't really feel that was a blast. She didn't feel that. There's no way, because Shanquella is a social butterfly. She likes to be in crowds. All you have to do is look at her different trips. She's always with a group of people. I wish I could show you guys that Soul Train dance that she did on the trip, and they took it off. I was going to show that to you, and I'm so sad that they removed it, because you'll see how Shanquella is. She is used to being in social atmosphere. She's not an introvert. Shanquella is an extrovert, and she loves to be around people. So for her to go skinny dipping by herself is contrary to the type of person she is. It's contrary to what she's used to. It's contrary to, see, I'm trying to find it, and they did take it off. I just wish it was here. Sorry, guys, I keep scrolling, but I was trying to find it where she was doing the Soul Train dance. These people be deleting stuff. Right, even in her death, she's putting pressure on people, y'all. This story captivated me. I don't think I'll ever be the same because of this story. It will forever be having me observing people. I'm like, let me look at your energy, y'all. I am not the same. Like I told you that story, I was so observant of that woman today or yesterday because of this tragedy. I was really starting to look at people's behavior, and I'm like, let me look at these people's energy. Do they like me or do they not like me? Okay. Oh, what is this? Uh-oh, we might have some more stuff, guys. She was one of the members for real. This is Shanquella when she was younger, y'all. Let's look at some pictures of Shanquella. Oh, wow. This is her. She's so beautiful. Let's look at some pictures here of Shanquella when she was younger. This is her. Look at her. See, these are her real friends here. No, you could see her real friends back in the same time frame when we saw the picture of the Cabo 6, remember back in 2012? If you guys have been subscribed to my page, we talked about the 2012 photo with the Cabo 6 and you didn't see Shanquella. Well, it's because Shanquella wasn't in that group with them. This is her friend when she was younger. These are the people that she was associated with. And notice how she hangs out with a lot of boys and men because she's the type of girl that has that personality that women get jealous of. So a lot of people she's close with are men because she don't have to worry about the hate and notice why Khalil is her best friend. She has a lot of guy friends. She has women friends, but a lot of her friends are guy friends. And I know some of you guys in the chat get what I'm saying. You probably are used to women being haters and jealous, and so you have a lot of guy friends. If you guys can tell me in the chat if you know about that. There's Shanquella there. He said, LOL, damn, Shanquella, my little prom date. Dang. So this was his prom date. Look how beautiful she was. She was absolutely stunning. She had a lot of girls that were jealous of her. A lot of girls. So it's good that some of these people are posting stories and photos of her. I'll go that one more time so you guys can just see that. She was always just very beautiful. Very beautiful girl. But I'm noticing a pattern with her. She seems to have a lot of close men friends. So she's probably dealt with jealousy a lot in her life from women. I'm glad that person posted that because I didn't even see that before, guys. Let's take a look. I'm trying to